phone.
And I guess the way you did the stream yesterday probably worked. You had no issues, right? I'm like, what the fuck? All I like is counting dubs and the money that's stacking up. Just like this money, like this green. You will never catch me on the sea. I fuck with the kickers in the feed.
It's funny though because Caliban and the Ass Ratchet were both characters I didn't care for until like they had to grow on me. I didn't like Caliban initially, honestly.
Do you like his like kind of, he has his like soft redesign that's been happening?
I really thought he looked weird with like his like light eyebrows. He looked like 30 years younger when he pulled off on live work and stuff.
I like the hair. I like his hair longer. Okay, yeah.
I just don't like when he has the shorts.
She liked the shorts.
You didn't like Pierre Caliban?
I didn't mind the beret. The beret was okay. I actually didn't mind the beret. It's the shorts. I'm like I don't know. The calves are big as shit though.
Hey man, never skip leg day.
Never skip a leg day for real.
How do you get all these bitches? I got all these bitches, they wanna see my hoes. All of these niggas some lazy, niggas some pussy, these niggas get fucking roasted. All of you niggas the same, you niggas some burgers, you niggas.
But yeah, I didn't like Ass Ratchet. Ass Ratchet, I was hating. Him, I was hating on. I was different. See, Caliban wasn't moving me. Ass Ratchet, I was hating. I was that guy. I'm not gonna see that. If he had full transformation and he packed us, I'm sorry. Literally, I took a video like, damn it. That's why before the live blog thing happened, I made that video, give them credit, so they couldn't come for me. So that I won't make this mistake twice. Oh, shit. And Mr. Vanitas. Okay.
Actually, we still haven't seen Yama's full transformation now that I think about it.
Nope,
No, we haven't. We've seen his partial full.
Yep. Yeah. What's up, Zodiac?
Got a feeling it's gonna look like his dad's.
See, I wish we got to see his dad's full on.
I think that was intentional though. The reason why it wasn't shown.
Yeah, so
The
do I.
exact same.
So do I. I think it's gonna be similar. I don't know. It's interesting. And then I think about Arcanak. Cause Arcanak is also inside of him, right? So it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it'll be probably like a little hybrid. No, it wouldn't, because normally the avatar just comes out of him, like in the back, like a full-blown stand.
Yeah.
So
all the ancients be rocking with the Slayers. Uvanical's probably gonna become a Slayer at this point.
Boo!
I know.
Turn it off.
She has the ancient. She has the rank.
Boo! Noah Vanka for Slayer. Boo.
But if she's a Slayer, isn't a Slayer supposed to have a target for the 10th grade family? Who would her target?
She has some. I remember her and Han Sung-yu, like she said, Han Sung-yu's like her or something. That's why he rocks with her. So she has some paths, because I remember she said she's seen hell before.
But she gonna be aiming for the defenders.
Maybe, but I mean, then again, we know none of the Slayers are really rocking with the family. So,
I think she's gonna die and give up her avatar to one of the people of the core group, one of the Slayers. Or her avatar's gonna get imprinted on one of the Slayers.
It should go to Rack.
Rack gonna fuse them all.
But it's not
like a Gundam.
But it should, if that's the case. That's what we're doing.
But I guess Rack is one though, so I guess that's the difference.
You could kind of loosely see, like, SIU trying to paint that Slayers are supposed to be the ones that the Ancients side with, because the Ancients are supposed to be the enemies of the 10 Great Heads. Mm-hmm. Or at least that's how it seemed in the flashback when they said that the mom was supposed to be a Slayer or something like that.
It seems at the very least that they're very strong creatures that are into our inhabitants, you know? like extremely
Yes.
powerful as far as in things that are born inside the tower goes. But what's up, chatters? What's up, Zodiac? What's up, High and Low? Also, for people who are complaining about flashbacks of characters that fought Bam's people, which showcase more of Yas Ratchet and his personality and seeing Yas Ratchet's backstory. Now it comes full circle for me. No, I actually think he did a great job with Yas Ratchet, all things considered. Whether you like him or not, I think he's a good character. We may never see it. He keeps screaming Traumerei here. Gotta say it for the Discord, the Twitter, one more time for the Twitch. Oh, I'll do it for Simi. Gustang! I can't do the Simi voice, but yeah. Yes, Milios is here. Van Kel built like Caitlyn Jenner is a crazy statement. But what's up, Viola? That's crazy. Well, all right.
You wild.
Yeah. You know what time it is. Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the next Shinsu clash. This is a big one. We got two family heads going at it. You know, I know we haven't seen too much of either, despite them being in the story. We have seen Gustang as early as the workshop in season 2, and then he reappeared in the Floor of Death. And Traumerei was only recently introduced, but that's part of the reason why I want to have this conversation, because I still think through, like you said earlier, Miles, like off stream, like through like some stuff and information through hidden floors and blog posts and just some ancillary information from some of the other like family head and stuff. I do think we can like infer a lot, even though it's implicit. It's not explicitly stated. And I just think it'll be interesting. I am not just doing combat for everybody who's here. It's not just fights. I'm doing design, thematic role, personality. I want to talk about their families and possible histories and whatnot, and then talk about their combat, which is like Shinsu control. I'm thinking like speed. I'm going to talk about their intellect and things of that nature. So this will not only be speaking about combat. We're going to be hinting and maybe pulling from things from the fast pass. Please don't talk about the raws here. No raw talk. I'm not mad at the fast pass talk. If there's something from the fast pass you need to reference, be as vague as you can be, but other than that, we good. How y'all doing though?
I'm fantastic.
I'm doing fantastic. On the way home, I was listening to the Weekend Blinding Lights. I was feeling myself.
All right.
Yeah.
Someone told me his last album wasn't hitting. I don't know if that's true though.
No, I think it's good.
I don't know about all that, but the song I was listening to was a bop.
I've never listened to. That's not true. What's the House of Balloons? I think I've heard that in its entirety. I haven't heard the Weeknd album in its entirety other than that. But I can't think of a Weeknd song that I've heard that I didn't like. It's kind of like Bruno Mars. I've never listened to Bruno Mars on my own. But if I like hear a song like him, like Anderson .Paak or something, I like the track. So that's all I got. So yeah. All right. So Van Kel slander full throttle, but none for Dawana here. This might be a good discussion, in my opinion. Someone of Traumerei's level has to appear to bail Bam out of the situation, and Gustang might be one of them. I think that's possible. Well, there might be other things that could happen too. We're using no Ross. What's Garam's connection to Gustang? Because he's done a lot to keep her hidden. We're gonna find out. We're gonna do it. But all right, let's get it though. Because the first thing I'm gonna start off is very simple. We're gonna talk about their appearance and design, so how they look. And I want to know what you guys are thinking. Who you rocking with more? Who do you think has a cooler looking design?
It would kindly refer to the slides that I sent you. I would like to say that if you kindly take a look, this is both of them in their most elegant, their most dominant. And if I'm looking at both of them in their peak form, I'm with Traumerei.
Okay. Okay, so you got the ones where you can see their full body. Okay, I'm gonna put it on screen for you. I got you. So you going with Traumerei?
Yes. That man looked like a whole demon. That man looks evil, looks venomous, looks like he's just ready to strike at any point in time, and I'm here for it. Okay. At first, I was clowning him when I first saw him. I was like, "Look at this man! Look at this small with this big ass feet, man! What are you doing? Like, what is going on with you?" And then I seen him stand. I was like, "You right? My bad."
Yo, he tall as hell. He tall. I'm like, oh shoot. I did not think he'll be as tall as he usually looked. So
yes.
I'm gonna have to give it to Traumerei. I'm sorry. The dark clothing matches great. The overcoat better than his overcoat. I gotta give it the mask design over the glasses. I will say the scarf that Gustang's rocking though is very clean. But when you just take it all together, Traumerei's fit is just it's different and done well. You know what I mean? You could see a nigga like Gustang on like the street and like give props. You're not seeing someone pull off what Traumerei doing.
That's
to
crazy.
be honest.
All right, I'm not mad at that. I'm really not. What about you, Vince? Who do you think looks cooler? Whose design you like a bit more?
Traumerei, man. He got the green hair. He got the mask.
Oh, okay. So I'm the only one rocking with Gustang for this one, eh? Okay.
Clean sweep.
No, I'm not. Well, shoot. Hold on. I got one game. I got one game in there.
It's a gentleman's sweep.
We are power scaling, but we're also going to talk about their design and other things, not just who's stronger. Traumerei got a glory hole in his face. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
To be honest, Traumerei's
Man,
kind
why
of
you
corny to
talking
me.
about the Cabal mask like that, though?
I want to tame everyone. He has a cool character design. I think he looks really cool. I think it's very, very close. Like it's not by a large margin to me. I'm not mad at your comment where you say Gustang just looks rich. What's wrong with him looking rich though? What's wrong with that? He clean, got the white on.
Yeah,
I think his overcoat and his suit
really
is clean.
Yeah,
I like how his hair is styled better than Traumerei's, and I think his glasses are fire. I know his glasses cost $1 million. Some Cartiers on. You know what I'm saying? My problem with Gustang is I'm a Gustang with Traumerei's. I don't like his mask. If I know why he's wearing it, I think I could take it in stride, but his mask is not moving me. Is he social distancing? Is he not trying to breathe commoner air? Like what's going on? Like the mask is the thing that bothers me the most. But I'm not. I think I don't know if the overcoat has the hood part that I think I like a lot too. But listen, Gustang just comes with this clean. He looks suave. He looked like he's about to fine dine somewhere where mere mortals cannot pay for. Like he looks like a billionaire. So like I'm rocking with him, but I'm not mad at the Traumerei design thing because he still looks clean. And I would argue that I think his eyes look a little cooler than Gustang's. But that's what I'll give him. I think his eyes look cooler. Bonjour, mon coeur. But yeah,
Which mask design do you like more?
I think the one that like look at the picture here. You know the one on the right that he has. I think that one I like more than the one that's the one in the middle. I think I like that one more.
Okay. Yeah, I think I agree on that.
Yeah. I got Gustang edging out in design, like the clean outfit. I might be the only one that thinks Gustang outfit looks better. No, I do too. I'm with you. So I'm here for that. Gustang is refined, exactly. He's elegant. You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, he got like the Lionel Luther drip. He looked like a millionaire to me. I'm with that. So, Traumerei mask smell like straight zoo because he afraid. Yo, the Traumerei slander be funny, bro. Well, anyways, all right. So we got Traumerei for design. I lost this one. That's okay though. I want to talk about the roles that they have in the story. Now, this one is going to be what we've seen so far and what you possibly think could happen in the future. But in terms of like thematic role and how they've been portrayed throughout the story thus far, I know it's been pretty minimal for both characters. Who have you guys had taken a greater liking to so far? I'll start with you, Vince.
For right now, it's still Gustang because Gustang, the way that he first appeared, the way that they, that just his. Now this is where it felt like, even though I don't think his design is better, his presence was better on first initial him showing up, because it was really just like an almost like it really did feel like a god appear before all these people. And him just handing out equipment and outfit, and him just doing what he is, doing deals, and we still don't even know what he's about. So,
okay.
So definitely him, but Traumerei is cool though.
Milios?
I'm going with Traumerei. Gustang is cool. I like the elusive man style that he was playing. Like, my boy Elusive Man from Mass Effect, that was just there controlling everything from the background. Gustang had a similar effect like that in the workshop battle, at least from my perspective. Mm-hmm. The way that he was pretty much using Bam and using Raichu to pretty much lead Bam to do the things that he wanted him to do, I dug that as well, and how he's also trying to basically go against Jihad, and he's the one that knows the most about like all the different dealings about Jihad and like the creation of the princesses and why they exist, the tool that Jihad is using, so that, or the tool that Jihad stashed on the hidden floor that he went and got, that is supposed to be apparently key to going against him. I like all that. I like his devious and conniving ways. I also like the way that he treated White when he had came to the floor of death, and he basically told him, "Man, you ain't nothing but a drop in the ocean, and I'm the ocean. So get back down, boy." I like that as well. So Gustang is cool. Don't get me wrong, but T just got it better. Like the whole, like just the little drops of information that's being seeded throughout the arc. Him basically with the words of they are. Ooh, hold up, can't say that. But the way that he talk, his mannerisms, like the mystique behind the mask, which I got a theory for that. But the mystique behind the mask.
What's up? What's up? Why are you wearing it?
Oh, all right. I think that the reason why he's wearing it is similar to why the 10 family leaders decided to move to a completely different zone when they was on the floor, when they was on their data floor, is because they believe themselves to be above the people that they're coexisting with. So he has it on because every 5 seconds he's calling them a trifle. He don't want to breathe the same air as them. He don't like it. When he first came into the world, he said, "It's cold here. I don't like it." Like those are kind of his first words. So when you take all that into account, the mask is just symbolism of like how he, or at least I perceive it to be symbolism of how he feels about all of the different creatures that are around him.
Okay.
As he will probably call them. But yeah,
so hypothetically speaking, let's say he was in a different space and he was speaking with Ariehan and like Ha-Yurin.
He was still wearing the mask.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
He was still wearing the mask because it's not just the fact that he's in a different space. It's the fact that he's in the tower. He feels himself to be better than the people that are in the tower.
Even the other irregulars? They're on the same. That's what I'm talking about. Like, what if he's talking with like Ha-Yurin, Ariehan, and stuff like the other Tengri family heads in a space away from all the trifles? I'm saying, would he have enough respect then to take the mask off? In your opinion, or are you still keeping it on?
No, he's keeping it on.
All right.
Because he's in the tower. That's my whole point. Like the tower itself is the reason why he got it on. Yeah. As for everything else, like his character himself is just. It's just better to me.
You don't think he's like ugly? You think he pulled? What if you got a bust up lip?
I don't know about that, man. Sometimes he got like diary of a mad irregular god like going on with him, like he's fresh out of a Tyler Perry story.
Okay.
But at the same time, it's kind of cool because it adds to the mystique of him. Like the reason why
it does.
The way that I look at it is like
I'm with that.
Yeah. The reason why he can control different people is because he wasn't able to control the one who left him, or at least that's what I'm thinking. So it all seems to fit. Now, if things go left, it is what it is. But at this point in time, I like him more.
Okay, Miles.
I agree with the mask thing. I don't think that he's disfigured or anything because of what Milio said, but I would have a hard time finding a reason why SIU would like kind of make any like give like any real like I guess negative feature to them if he could avoid it, if that makes sense. Like
they're not disfigured. But you say he's not disfigured.
Yeah, like they're like the epitome of like his ideas of like strength, beauty, resolve, all this other like stuff, and to be like God amongst like these residents, he's gonna do his best to put them in the best light that makes sense while still like letting them be dicks and whatever. Going to what Vince said about the presence thing, I'm actually gonna have to give that to Traumerei, but I think that's only because Traumerei actually has an audience. I think if Gustang had an audience, we would have like the same thing that happened. Because Gustang is great because the shit with White is really, really good. You already know the lore of White, the evils he did with the kingdom, sacrificing all those souls, second generation Slayer, one of the scariest people in the tower. And then he literally acts like a kid on a tantrum when he's in front of Gustang, and Gustang doesn't give a fuck, and he's looking at Urek like, look at these people that are around us. They're bugs. They suck. Come with us. Screw these people. Traumerei, though, is he had a full audience. He had the trumpeters. He had his sons come out. And when Percy said, get on your knees, do not look at him, do not dare even think of his face. That is a crazy line. That is insane to tell somebody. Then he comes in, he says, I don't like the lights. Everything goes dark. And everybody is just frozen in fear. Traumerei is just great. Thematically, I think as an overall big picture, Gustang is far more important than Traumerei, without a doubt.
Okay.
I think long game, the things that he's probably going to do are probably going to outweigh probably almost every family head. And I think then the importance would be their connection with the main character. I think his connection with Bam won't be strong. I do think we're going to get a little bit more history through him with V and stuff, like V and Arlene, because that seems to be really the only connecting point. I think Traumerei could add an interesting thing with Bam, because Bam always like has this inner monologue of, oh, I'm a demon, I'm a monster, oh, I gotta let myself be the monster, I got to accept myself, yada yada, all that evil bullshit that he does. Well, Traumerei actually looks at people like beast. So there might be something there with like that like theme that might be more interpersonal for Bam. Well, Gustang is more like the history of like, this is how you came to be.
Okay.
So I think it's just different. So I think the roles like Gustang's probably overall bigger, but like, you know, both really important.
So you kind of touched on something that I was going to bring up when I brought up why I think Gustang's thematic role so far has been a little more interesting to me. I agree with what you're saying with like the way in which they are being presented to the audience is different. With him, literally, like you said, he has people around. You know, the guy was like, don't imagine his appearance and whatnot. Gustang has technically had 3 introductions, so to speak, right? He has the very first one where you don't really say much. You just see him sitting there, and there's like the title there where he's sitting in a chair. Season 2 after the workshop. Then there's on the floor of death, and the floor of death, I do think is very significant, just because again, you saw what White did in the Soul Room, and the way that he's talking with Urek, and it's very similar to something that's going to happen. And what I really like about that moment is just that the way he cures Rachel, he just takes the thorn. Like, he's just proven how smart he is, what he knows, and he's just doing things that you couldn't imagine. Rachel got washed by a toy bee. This man looked at her and healed her. Like, he did a lot of things that I think people don't really remember. And even when he was being introduced in the last station, you don't remember what I said? He's the most omniscient, omnipotent. Like, he hyped him up too, bro. Yeah. Don't act like his own family did not hype up Bidau Gustang. Like, he got the hype too when he pulled up on Sean Hee Han. I think it was Dorian Frog after some things happened. So
that's a fact. I was gonna push back, but you did it for me. So
I actually forgot about that too. You just said that. No, you're actually right.
Yeah, right. And the people that he was standing with looked like some motherfucking demons. They looked terrifying.
They were huge.
Silhouetted. It was looking crazy over there, right? And then I think about the fact that this man is opposing the King of the Tower, and there was an entire rule out of the three orders. One of the orders was the eradication of his entire family. Like, we're not gonna play like he hasn't already been doing some crazy stuff already. He's the one who discovered what Shinsu is. Like, hey yo, there's some shit around us. There's some energy around us. Like, he's the one who discovered that and everything. Like. So to me, I definitely think he's going to be more important going forward too, because he's directly opposing jihad, and because one of his children are sealed away, and his connection to Eurasia. I think all of those things are going to be important. So I just think that his role as of right now and moving forward is more important. However, as far as just initial first impact, I do think Traumerei hits a little harder. Because he appears, he seems very nonchalant and very disconnected and disinterested, and he has the people around him doing what he does. But still, when we see him in the flashback with this and Nene and stuff, I'm like, this guy is actually a monster. So I actually do think that his impact in terms of like hitting us earlier, it does happen quicker with Traumerei. But I'm giving this one to Gustang personally.
Oh, and I was gonna actually also add to that, and he has a relationship with the workshop, which is a really, really
Yes.
significant.
Yes. What's up? What's up, clans? What's up, everyone? But yeah,
Well, then I just have a quick question for you, then, or all of you guys. Who do you think will be more impactful on Bam?
the reason I want to say Gustang is because of what he said about V. He said, I'm not talking about your father. He's like the worst man I've ever seen or ever known." And I'm like, I wonder what
Yeah.
made their relationship so contentious. So
Mhm.
I would argue him in the long run.
And also, he's helping Rachel, which obviously is a big
Yeah.
connection to
Right.
Bam
Okay.
too.
Yeah.
Impact him in what way?
What do you mean?
Uh,
Oh, sorry.
No. He
I
said
guess
who would be more impactful?
I
Like,
guess in any way you think, like whether it's him figuring himself out, him going through
Mhm.
like a personal crisis, yeah, like any like, external, internal crisis, whatever you like think.
Mhm.
okay, so emotionally, yeah, Gustang.
Okay.
I'm just for fun. What hits harder? A bug is a bug or or trifle? What's hitting harder? Just out of curiosity. A bug is
Trifle.
I'm rocking with Trifle.
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 Yeah,
Trifle is the.
I would say trifle because that's not a word you hear every day. I was like, damn, we call it a trifle. That's crazy.
I'm actually
I had to go look it up.
I'm actually with y'all with that one. I'm with y'all. So, do I think Gustang was no? I don't because he was with Eurasia. Eurasia was his woman, so I don't think he was an Arlene. Arlene got along well with everyone from what we know. So, but I don't think so. No, unless you're talking about it's Gustang. So no, yes. So yeah, we should bug out. A bug is a bug. A bug is a bug. And like it hits because he says it like once, and it just kind of permeates. But trifle, I got to give it to him. I'm with you guys on that one. So, all right, I'm not mad at that. I had one more thing I wanted to say. I was curious about. Okay, what I find interesting about like your mask theory, a little bit is like I do think it's a little bit too simple in my opinion. I'm not mad. That's the reason why I'm cool with it. But I guess because a lot of them seem to be really high and mighty and holier than thou. And I guess my question is, how come Gustang doesn't wear a mask? You know what I'm saying? Is it because this guy's around animals? Is that the distinction? Like, how come Gustang is not on his? I don't want to breathe the same air as you commoners type beat.
I mean, if we want to be a little bit more, deep with it, this man was able to smell Yaz Racha and Yama all the way in a whole entirely different area. with
Vermin
that
did hit
mask
hard,
on.
by the way. Yeah, we said Vermin. Yeah, that did hit hard. Sorry, keep going.
Well, no, I was just saying
No,
he
talk to the
did
chat.
find them in like he did smell them like in another area with that mask on.
Okay.
Like
So yeah, it could be inhibiting its senses because he might have like animal like senses
Yeah.
or whatever.
So maybe it dulls it so he doesn't have to. Maybe it's too overwhelming. Like his sense of
Yeah.
smell is too good.
Maybe.
Okay.
all I know is if he takes off that mask and it shows a Katakuri like face, I'm gonna be like, all right, you got it, man.
I thought the Katakuri thing was so obvious. I don't know why anybody was shocked. I thought it was so obvious, and I still think he looked wrong. That's just me though. But
No, it looked cool. It was obvious, but at the same time, it was like the presentation of it, like how it went through everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think they're all gonna be different in the like they're all gonna have like their own little special like versions of the mask and like how they like interact with people. You know what I mean? Because Gusting's kind of like at a distance where he calls people vermin, bugs, you're trash, you suck, get out my face. So like everybody might have their own thing where it's like don't touch me, don't look at me. So I guess we just have to wait and see.
yeah, I wonder.
Because your heart really doesn't seem to be wanted to like be around anybody.
Yeah, at all. Wonder if there are family heads that are actually chill. I'm gonna say yes. I think there's at least two of them that are just pretty like neutral. They're not going crazy. You know what I'm saying? So, I believe the mask something to do with his abilities, not his arrogance. Gus needs to show his pretty face. Can't deny. Well, yeah, wasn't he ranked like one of the best looking men in the tower or the best looking man in the tower, Gustang? I think
Really?
One of I think. I don't want to say the
yeah,
best.
something like that. I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
But all right, what about personality in terms of what we've seen so far? Whose personalities hit a bit more for you guys? I think actually I won't start this time. You go, Miles. I'll go next time. I'll start next time.
Dude, this one's actually tough. This one might be True Blue equal, honestly.
I'm not mad at that.
Because the calm, cool collectedness and just like terrifying intelligence that like Gustang shows it's just great. It's kind of like he's just like the deep ocean. You know what I mean? It's just vast.
The
Like you just
aloof
look at him, and
wave.
you just don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like I feel like in any form of like fast that you try to come at him, he'll just be able to deal with it. If you want to, you can't outsmart him, you can't outpower him, you can't out tech him, you can't out fan like. He's just that guy where it's like I can't do anything with you, and he probably knows everything about me and my whole history. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He's just so scary. But then Traumerei is like his way of just viewing you as an animal. It's just like because he'll have you. He put people in a fucking cat tower. It's like play for me, breed for me, like
you weirdo.
So it's just I think because Traumerei is a little bit more of like scary in the way he like kind of like animalizes everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I might actually go with Gustang.
Okay.
I might edge out with Gus on this one actually.
I'm not mad at that. Vince.
And I think Gustang's gonna have more. I just want to say, and I think Gustang's gonna have more interesting interactions with other family heads than Traumerei would.
Okay.
Which I think is gonna add up much.
Mm-hmm. I like what you said, Viola. Gustang is class and Traumerei's terror. I'm mad at that. Vince, what you thinking?
This is kind of tough because, like, I actually kind of like what I've seen from Traumerei when he's actually hit the screen rather than the flashback stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because the flashback stuff with all the breeding and all that, I don't really care about that. It's kind of gross. Like, but you know, it's kind of perverted, sitting there making animals do all that. But like, his kind of like disconnected aloofness that he has in like the current batch of chapters, that I mess with that a lot easier because it's kind of like he just kind of like, eh. Like he just feels like that's kind of, I kind of like that about Billy. He's not all super pumped up, not all angry, not like, you know. I think he's just kind of like, because even when he's saying stuff that he's saying, he's not. I don't feel like he's saying it just like
maliciously.
Y'all, y'all disgust me. How dare y'all even say? He's kind of like, bro, like, don't even look at me. Like, what's wrong with you?
I come across this to me like he states it very matter of factly. Like it's like you literally like I'm literally on a regular. Like you're just not in the same tier as me. Like it's not even like a I hate you type thing. It's just like it is what it is. I'm with you. I'm following.
Yeah, so I think slight edge to him as far as that is concerned.
Yeah, with Wang Wang, bro. You didn't see that man say I can't wait any longer. Breed her tonight. He gotta go for that one. I was like, ew. I said, what are you doing?
Yeah, see
bro?
that the flashback stuff, he was wilder, son. I couldn't mess with that.
Yeah.
That's too much for me.
I mean, he was an animal breeder or animal tamer who was just breeding his stock.
No, that's not cool, man. That's not moving.
It's the way he did it. He's like, what's the problem? You guys are you got a hotel. I can't wait any longer. Breed her tonight. I said, bro, you freak. Oh my goodness. I know he watching it too. You fucking nah. I'm not with that. So. Let me see. Michael Vick of TOD is crazy. Gustang wins in the personality. Just ask the host. On a serious note, look at the connection she has to the workshop and supposedly FUG. Clearly has some form of charisma beyond being a great family head. I'm not mad at that. Only time he got mad was when Nene talked about his mom. Talking about what? Wait, who are you talking about? Oh wait, Nene talked about whose mom? I don't remember. I don't know what you're talking about. You're gonna have to say that.
I don't got to do either.
Okay. Miles.
Yes.
Did you go already?
I went first.
Oh shit, Milios. I'm sorry.
To paint a picture, as best as I can. So far, Gustang's personality has been showcased as a deceitful individual who's cunning, smart, and willing to do whatever it takes to get what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
And at this current point in time, Traumerei's personality seems to be an aloof individual who isolates himself from people, given how his past has like turned out. So, if looking at both, which one is more interesting to me? Traumerei. Wholeheartedly. I want to know what happened to him more than I want to know what Gustang is going to do in the future. So Tia is better than me.
Okay, that's interesting. I think this one is also another one that's for me is very close. I think if I'm just going based off personality, I give the slight edge to Gustang in this category solely because of the fact that he just moves solo alone, and that's very much to like me. Like he just like calling him the aloof wave, or just like he moves on his own. That's what he has to do. He goes to the workshop. That's what he has to do, and he just kind of just constantly doing what he like making his moves, without necessarily just staying holed up in wherever the Bidau castle, if you will, or palace. Like he moves around even though we don't necessarily see him. And like they just said, like he does, the girls do like him, and I do think that when I'm gonna transition into the next point in a second, but I do think that some of the things that could have possibly happened with him, Eurasia, and his daughter, I think are very intriguing to me, and I very much want to know that. I'm not denying that I do want to know what happened with Traumerei and the 13 great warriors during the great pilgrimage. Who was he referring to when they're like, oh, people fall in love and they betray me and this and that? Was it Arlene? Is it Jihad? Is it Gust? A lot of them fell in love because even Arihan and Ha Yurin, like there could have been all kinds of mix up going on. Did he fall in love with somebody and then he didn't get them and he's salty about it, and that's why his personality is all about taming, dominating, and he says death is a gift that he has for people who aren't even worth being like literally in his Pokeball type beat. You know what I'm saying? They both come across very interesting, and we only got very snippets because I think that when they get obviously pushed to the edge or back into a corner and stuff like that, and getting to see them at a younger age will play a factor into how we see them. I know we don't know much about it, so it's kind of hard to discuss, but Gustang, just the way he came on the floor of death, I just really, really, really appreciate. And the fact that he's just like opposing Jihad right now, I think is very brave. So I'm rocking with him a little more right now. So to transition to the family thing, I actually like the Lopobia family more from top to bottom in total. I like them more. I think that they have Alfine, she's fine. They got Shalal and Lilal, they're fine. They got Lopobia Lane, she's fine. Traumerei's like pretty cool in his own right, and we've seen some other people. So I think that like his family, in terms of like being showcased in the present time story, has been better. And we've seen Lopobia Ren. I like Ren. I like him too. He's fine. Obviously, Yasaracha and the Baylords, they kind of like, come from the Lopobia family workshop, B-Skin, X, Y, and Z. So I do think that we're talking present time especially, absolutely. I do think the Lopobia family is interesting, and we've seen some cool stuff with the Odd-Eye Cobra. I really like when the captain bodies that like one guy, like that was pretty cool, and kind of suspend him. Like a lot of those things are dope. Like I like this family. But I do think from a just a intrigue standpoint, I want to know how Eurasia, Blossom, and Bidau Gustang got together, what their relationship was like, and how they fell apart, and did that tie into Anne getting kind of captured and sealed away, and she's number 7, which is tied with Adori, which I think is very significant. So when we get to that point, I really want to know. So with Gustang, it's more like I'm very interested in what could have happened, what could have happened, but in terms of what I've already seen from the families, Lopobia family is clear. Who's next? I want to go next.
I take it. All right. So as far as what we've seen, if I only go by what we said, then that shot at the end of Last Station where he was in front of Chunwa and I can't remember the old boy, Apathian or whatever. When he was in front of those two, when he was in front of, when they pulled up on him and they pretty much snatched Rachel, Uraha, and who was it? The Traveler out of the ship and onto their ship, and he was basically bigging them up. I like the design of a lot of the people that was a part of the Bidau family, but I don't know exactly how many of them is actually a part of the Bidau family because some could be adopted. So if I'm going by just what I know, Lopobia all the way. I'm still trying to figure out how the hell somebody birthed that got daggone giant spider woman.
Oh, Spider Mommy?
I'm still trying to figure that out. Yeah.
She's terrifying, but that design is crazy because all her lights, she got heels on, like like bro. Her design is actually so crazy. I actually like it, and I hate spiders. Like I have arachnophobia, so
I got a little bit of that too. But yeah, so what I will say is the designs of the Lopovia family, my bad, is just it's just amazing.
yeah.
And then on top
they
of that,
got bad bitches.
they do. And on top of that, the Shinhui that they showcased, which helped build like the world for the tower, like Cobalt.
Yo, shout out to that frog is. You said
Greninja.
Greninja. That's Rano from Ravels of Aether. That's my guy. Yo, that frog is so raw. I can't no one tells me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The Darkness Owl. I can't remember his name. Puddity, I think is his name.
Yeah.
The horny owl.
Horny bird. Yeah, just horny bird.
Yeah, him. Yeah. So him. The ancient odd-eye cobra. The giant looked amazing.
Yeah.
The one of the three dragons of the sea. One of the
sea dragons. Yes. The rapid rapids. Yes. Or something like that.
And Leviathan. More importantly, Leviathan, because Leviathan, he was about to let Bam know something before Bam absorbed him, and Bam didn't let him finish, which I got a 30 for that one too, because he looks very similar to a certain Thrissa, but I'm gonna hold that off. But yeah, it's just everything with them has just been great from start to finish to me in terms of design, their mannerisms, characteristics, the execution of their different personalities, and the way that they go about things. Pegasus, when that man came in and basically said, "Sit." Didn't I tell y'all to sit?
He said, where y'all going? He's like, whoa, boy, like little horse. What's it called, like the straddle or whatever? I don't know. I don't do equestrian, but like that was clean. He almost hung the shit out of hats on you, bro.
I just love it. Wow.
No, and also just real quick, the stuff with Elaine too, right? With the family for 1,000 of years. Like, pretty much just, letting her, like, slave away in the Name Hut station and her failing the test to become a princess of Jihad and everything, too. Like, all of that's, like, the Lopobia family presently has a lot more going on. So I'm with that. So, yeah.
Exactly. Different family head setups, how they operate for different family head positions. The fact that a lot of them aren't the same, because even though LaFave is a part of the Lopobia family, she doesn't really use animus. She uses a big old sniper rifle.
She fine too, though. Hold on, the heels. When she shot the rocket launcher in the heels, I said, hold on, that's clean. I like her too. But yeah, you're right. I'm with that. Vince, what you thinking, man?
Shit. I feel like this just keep happening clean sweep for Traumerei. What's going on, bro? I didn't expect this to go like this. But, I don't really got nothing to add. Traumerei raw.
All right. Then with that, then we can kind of start to get into the.
Oh, I go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't want to drag it. Let's hear something else to say.
I just want to say, Lilios was spitting until he got to Leviathan. We're not giving that worm any respect here.
No?
I'm sorry.
I think Leviathan looks pretty cool.
Nah, fuck that.
I like. You know what it is. You know what it probably is. I like Leviathan's color scheme a lot. The blue is moving me.
Because color scheme's fine.
The color scheme's
fine. Yeah. But I think the beauty of the Lopobia family is that it's probably the most complete faction within the tower, that we actually understand how things truly work. You know what I mean? Yeah. We have the giant family, we have our subsections of our branches, we have our candidates for branch heads, we have our branch heads,
the hatchlings,
and we can actually gauge pretty well how you become a hatchling and a branch head. And even this is the weird part with Traumerei and his 23 beasts, because it seems like he has specific ones that are for him and then some that he leases out to his family. Like the Ancient Eye Cobra is one of the 23, but he gave it to his 8th son, which is the head of the branch, of the snake branch, the little snake dude. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's one of those things where I guess it would be weird because there's 20 of them. So he obviously isn't giving out all of them because he has 7 beasts that he keeps himself on. I'm curious to see how that goes. But yeah, the completion of the branch is fantastic.
You know what?
And
Now that you said,
He's right.
said that,
Yeah, he's right.
I said now that you said that, I guess my thing would be is that I like the layout and the setup of Traumerei's family better, but I think I like the members more currently of Gustang's family of what I've seen.
Okay.
I will say that the Windbird family there wasn't moving me. I'll say that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, some of these dudes, like I just kind of like,
And the poop throwing girl wasn't moving me either.
Yeah, like animal stuff don't be moving me like that. But I will say I think it's because I've seen more of their abilities.
Yeah.
And I've seen more of just like how they're utilized as far as against our own crew and in the story so far. Like, because even I can't. Never mind. Yeah, because even with the with Gustang's people, like we've seen some of them, but even then, they haven't like moved them.
At the very end, I'll have a free for all section where you can unleash everything. I'll say that part for the end.
Okay, big.
We good.
That's fine. And what I'll do is I'll save that portion of the conversation for when it's time. Okay. So
okay.
Because I was thinking of two specific.
I know.
But Gustang's people, like we just haven't seen them as much as involved heavily the way that Traumerei, like we've seen them. Obviously, we've seen some of them, but not like in the same way. The Traumerei people, because it's just been such an animal dominated arc. Mm-hmm. It's all about all the animals, and he's the head animal guy, so it's like just perfect for him.
And I think the branches, I kind of wish we would see which branch heads have specific, their specific, beast, because with the Grey Wolf family, we know that there's a specific type of wolf within that family, which is Fenrir, which Elaine has, but that's not necessarily probably the strongest wolf that the family has.
I think Elaine would probably get to that because she was talented and had the potential to become a Princess of Jihad. So
I agree. Like I think she's probably gonna be the next family branch head of that.
Still think it's egregious that she's not getting anything to do in this arc right now. But
I completely agree.
Conversation for another day.
That's why
I'm not gonna go there today. I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, and that's why I think with the Lopabia family, I can't say it's a missed opportunity because we still have plenty of time, but the Liboric piece, I think, would have been fantastic. Because I think his entire thing of
inferiority?
Inferiority, where it's like he is one of a few selected class in the tower where it's I have the bloodline of two great family heads. Mm-hmm. I am strong, I am smart. I probably have all the different things from the Po Bidau and Kun family, which is extremely diverse. And yet somehow this woman with no special blood became a princess of Jihad and is above me. I can understand why he has developed such an inferiority complex, not to mention just the nature of how Kun Edwan is and Po Bidau is. I can't see them treating their children in a relatively respectful manner. Like someone like Ha Yurin. So I can see all these
Edwan has too many kids. That's the problem. He's like one of those niggas with like 10 kids. So he's like
exactly.
If they're not in his immediate area or like in his household, he don't know what to do with them. So.
And then this is a blog post thing, but so we don't retcons. But there's a thing with the Po Bidau family where they have the research center.
Yeah.
And it's to be considered a real member of the family, you have to succeed in whatever test the research center had. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious if Liboric failed that test. Because because we see this thing of Po Bidau family is going against the tower. So you're part of this family, but you're still want to be a corps commander. So obviously your relationship with Po Bidau family is horrible. Because otherwise, unless he's a double agent, which, I mean, is possible knowing how Po Bidau is, but I believe he probably has a very contentious relationship with his father. If we assume that he's the father, not Edwan, or he's the grandfather, whatever's thing with that. But yeah. So I think with the Liboric piece, we can see a lot more that could potentially lead to him being more interesting. But as of right now, the Lopabia just has too much to not be considered arguably the best faction in the tower right now.
I would argue that he's probably Gustang's son. with a
Because
lot
of the
of
name.
yeah, because usually they put that the last name first is the one that you belong to, because it's like it's Ha Yuri Jihad, you know. It's like
Hmm.
Kun Masheni Jihad, right? So that's kind of been consistent. I could be wrong, I guess, but it's pretty consistent. So I usually go like that. So it's Po Bidau like Bora Kun, right? So I think
Okay.
that he's probably like, directly a descendant or whatever. But he probably has very, very high level and strong blood of like the Kun family in him. But that's more secondary.
Mm.
I could be wrong though. I don't know that for a fact. That's just
Okay.
To,
yeah.
to
Go ahead.
to add to the inferiority thing, um, I've been thinking about that line for a bit ever since like that panel, and I did remember like at one point in time in the blog post it did say that Po Baidu was supposed to be like the most knowledgeable, but he just didn't have what it takes compared to like Erasure or something like that. Like she was
Hmm.
just better than him, and I wonder if like that's supposed to be like that sort of overachiever that like most intelligent people have, like when they study hard and they build themselves up to a certain level, and then it's just the person who just got it,
Mhm.
and they're just too talented that they don't need all of that, and they see that like what was all of this hard work worth if this person is just going to overcome that with just sheer talent, and so it'll make them feel less than that person. So that was something that I was thinking about, like when it came to Pope Baidu, and that emotion, that feeling, it could be passed down to Pope Baidu people,
Mhm.
No, that's actually a really,
possibly.
really good point. Because them genetics really do be carrying everything from their parents.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is just something I wanted to add in.
Okay. Now we're gonna talk about who we think is stronger. All right. We're gonna get to all the moving parts, but I want to start here because I'm just so interested to see what you guys are gonna come up with. I wanted to be known that we obviously don't know for a fact. We have very little information, and we're operating off a lot of like headcanon and theories and little tidbits of blog posts and what we've seen. Who do you think is the better hand-to-hand combatant?
Traumerei.
Why?
Yeah.
Okay. So now I think if both of these dudes ripped their shirts off, they would both be six pack ripped, fit, yada yada. Now I think Gustang is one of those type of people, like he's kind of like Isaac, where it's like even though his intelligence could probably take him all the way, I could see him as the type where I'm going to garner every single ability that I can and get those to like the peak that I can. So I can see Gustang excelling in every single position.
Mhm.
Uh, Obviously not to the degree that all the other family heads have, but I think that he's probably. But I don't know. There's just something about Traumerei where I feel like he's using the animals because of convenience, and his own personal power just outstrips all of them by far. And I don't have a good reason for it. I really couldn't tell you. But that's just what I believe. And I think because animals have to have a second position, I would argue Traumerei is probably a fisherman. So I think he probably would have to have some hand in hand. But I don't know. I might just I don't know.
Okay.
I can't give you the reason why. I just got Traumerei.
Okay, so I actually have some of I got my reasons for why I think he's better hand. Obviously at this point, like you know that they can do every position and all that. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. But if I'm just going based off their base position, this thing's a wave controller. So that's number one. And also, if I kind of like, I don't know if this matters anymore, but if I just go back to like what we kind of see of Gustang, I'm not Gustang, of Traumerei's first, kind of like what his first idea of what he looks like, and you see that picture of him sitting around all the animals, and he looks like he has a completely different
I know.
form.
I see where you're going with this.
Yeah, like he's more animalistic in nature, so he's probably very strong, like some very like raw, cruel strength.
Like he
That's
can
what
kind of fuse with the animals type thing, maybe.
yeah, I think he probably just has the strength of animals, like just period.
I wouldn't even be surprised if he can use some stuff like beastification. If I'm being honest,
Dang,
that wouldn't
that's what
even.
I was
Yeah.
about to say.
Oh, that would. Shit, my fault.
Nah, you got it. Yeah.
I mean, that's a good point. But okay, my slight pushback. that would make him maybe physically superior, but does that make him a better
But that's what I
hand-to-hand
meant. That's
combatant?
what I meant.
Oh, okay.
Well, I still think that, but I still think that's like hand to hand wise. He's probably. I'm just going hand because like
It's
I
kind of
don't
like
think either one of these guys know martial arts. Like I really don't.
Okay.
I
I was
really
gonna
don't.
say
I
because it's
just
kind of
think
like
I'm
Caliban
just going
and
based off that.
Caliban and Hajin Sung, where I think Hajin Sung's probably a better hand-to-hand combatant than Caliban, but Caliban's a fucking beast. You know what I'm saying? He just tanked through that shit. Go ahead.
I would actually argue I think Gustang's probably taken a little bit of everything from the family head and compiled it into him. So I think because we know the Haas are actually technicians. That's their main thing, not just the strong body. So I really wouldn't be surprised if Gustang studied like the martial arts of the Ha family. I think he has a little piece of everything from everybody. So I think he's like that, like kind of like outside of Jihad, the most all-arounder of the great family heads.
Okay. Milios, get into what you wanted to get into. What did you want to say specifically about beastification and stuff?
Hold on, let me just set this up real quick. So I've been playing a lot of Elden Ring. All right, cool. Got that out there. All right, so the way that the way that I look at this is that for those of you that play at Elden Ring and you made it to the end, you know who Radagon is now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? All right, cool. I think Gustang is like Radagon. Like he is this powerful deity, as his family like to call him, this omniscient being that has like incredible abilities that allows him to wave control in like crazy different ways. Because if we go back and we look at like when Uruk basically teleported like on the floor and he was like we can do that too. All of us can do that. So if we think about like all of those different scenarios, all of them have those different types of capabilities. But I think Gustang in particular, given who he is, given his affiliations with the different things in the tower, he would have like Radagon like abilities. So like abilities to be able to summon Shinsu wherever. Not control it the way Erasure can, but to summon it wherever.
Oh, see, but you're going into something that I was gonna say. I just didn't keep going. But if we're talking about just physical strength, I think Traumerei is stronger. But if we're talking about just all aroundness, who got more tricks in their bag, whose bag deeper, I think it's Gustang. I think his bag is deeper.
Okay.
Yes, but I will go out on a limb and say that I think Traumerei is like Horaloo. He will have like multiple forms, not just a single beastification, but the ability to like empower himself with whatever beast is under his control.
Okay, I was gonna ask you that
that makes sense.
Because some people in my company have said that, like, you know, like, so let's say he like Cobalt, like he can like somewhat merge with it or take its abilities and power and start teleporting people around if he wanted to. Something like that. Okay, all right.
Yeah, and I think it will probably get a whole lot deeper than that, especially when it comes to how he beasts up, how quick he could change and all that. So if I'm thinking about it from that perspective, his capabilities are technically limitless, even though he only has 7, I believe, of his 23 creatures. I think that's the number.
7 of 7.
Even though he only...
Sorry, what?
Huh? Yeah, he has 7. They say the 7 beasts that Traumerei wields himself. Yeah, 7.
Yeah.
So also I think like this too, right? If we just go based off of information they said, we know that even Yama's a pretty physically dominating and intimidating character, and his power, pales in comparison. So it's Yacharacha. So it's just based off of that. I'm not just talking about just like destructive force. He probably just straight up stronger than them too. Probably could just pick them up and throw them across the room if he wanted to. We just going based off physical strength.
I think he definitely is more physical. I would argue that Gustang, I think, definitely martial arts wise would be far superior.
I mean,
I just don't see either one of these guys doing no martial.
That's the thing. I don't think either one are martial arts. I'm just asking, who do you think is more adept at it?
No, but my thing is, I don't even think Gustang would do anything hand. The most I can see Gustang doing hand to hand, period, is if somebody tries to punch him or something, he would just block it and just be like, yeah, like nice try.
The reason why I would say that is we can argue Jahar's probably the most all around, right? like fighter out of all the family heads, right?
He was the
Well,
best
hold
one to
on,
come in.
hold on, hold on. Before you go into that, but even if we're going on martial art, if we're going based on martial arts, like if you go on kung fu is based off animals,
Yeah,
monkey
no, I know.
style. Like I can't see Gusting. Like to me, I don't see any evidence that Gusting doing any martial arts. Period. I don't see how you could pick him above Traumerei doing any martial. Cause I can't see him doing that. Period. I really can't.
The reason why
Punches
I
are
say that is because Gustang is a type of individual that can't. It seems he has a very hard time accepting other people being better than him. That's the reason why, even though he was in love with Eurasia, it's stated he still actually somewhat despises her.
He was. I think the thing said he was her greatest fan, but also her biggest hater or something like that. I remember that.
Yeah.
That
So
somewhere.
when you have someone like this, I would have a hard time believing that he wouldn't do his best ability to find any ways that he's lacking and improve upon him. So when we have someone like Jahard, who's the fisherman, but he can probably do it all, hand to hand, Shinsu, he has the weapons. I think for him to be willing to go specifically against Jahard and call you a phony, I can't see him not trying to find ways to be somewhat on level with Jahard in multiple areas. I just find that hard to
I
believe.
hear
Would
you.
disagree
That
with
makes
that.
sense, but I'm not feeling that because at the level they at, why they throwing punches and kicks? They not doing that
Well,
at the level
we
they at.
we know for a fact Hyurn is.
No, but she's different though. She like her makeup and all that is completely different. With Gustang, especially for somebody they put in so much on his intellect and stuff like that. I think he's coming up with new techniques how to destroy you or rip your body out your soul or something like that. He's not punching and kicking you. He might do it just to flex on somebody inferior, but that's not what he's doing. Like I can't see it. Like we just got to agree to disagree. I'm not seeing him
That's
do
fair.
nothing like that.
Okay, so
Just can't.
wow. So let's just bring this full circle. So on the topic of, I think we've kind of transitioned to like more physical traits in general right now. So we're talking about the physical bodies of the two and what they can and can't handle, and obviously like not like a more hand-to-hand fight. So we're saying Traumerei because of the animals and possible
Yes.
Houndborn transformation, beastification and stuff. It makes him more I guess more suited for physical combat. So are we factoring that in? So are we also saying that he probably has a higher level of just raw muscle strength, speed,
Yeah,
and
I'm factoring all that in.
and physical toughness?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
but speed is a tricky one because
Shinsu boosting now, right? Because that's how I was gonna go.
Yeah.
Because
I say speed is, but he's probably the tankier, stronger person. But as far as faster, I don't know if he's faster.
because
He
I
could
think
be, 'cause there's
Traumerei
so
can
many
probably
animals there.
get like I'm being very very simple here, but like cheetah legs and move fast. I'm not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's
But
what I'm
I could
all
see,
that in.
but like I think to guess I guess get to into the next category. I think Gustang has better Shinsu control easily.
Yeah,
personally
absolutely.
speaking.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I think he's stronger.
So remember how with Shinsu boosting, Bam was unable to keep up with just the raw running power of Andorsi during the after the name hunt station. I think when Karaka and Yuri are fighting. Well, I think this is a situation where it would be reversed, even though naturally, just from a physical standpoint, like if they had to just kind of maybe just do a foot race or whatever, like thing would win. I think if he Shinsu boost, he either would be he'll either be equal in speed, if not faster, by boosting his like
Byakuya, like how Byakuya with Shupo and stuff like
Yeah,
that, where he was a genius of that. I think it'd be something like that. He's just like the man would just simply just be just good at just moving it. He's like, this is trivial. Like what is this? Like this is a waste of my time. Like we come on, man.
I have a question for you guys then with that, because I low-key did forget about Shinsu boosting, because I would argue that Gusting has more Shinsu overall and his control's better for that. Do you think that he would have created a device, kind of like a Shinsu steroids in a sense, where like he doesn't even need to train, he could just like kind of like inject himself with something just to give himself like insane physical stats?
I can't see them using that for himself. Like I said, I just think all of that would just be so trivial for him.
Yeah,
I think all of that would be a complete waste of time for him. He's not doing anything especially when you have something like, because you're talking about the whole Eurasia thing, but think about like what Eurasia came up with in the first place. Eurasia came up with a move where she could literally speed up, what they say, the Shinsu or whatever, and destroy an entire floor. Like that's the type of shit that I see Gustang do. He's not wasting his time doing stuff like that. Like Not saying that he couldn't do punches and kick and stuff like that, but he just don't seem like a guy who's gonna do any of that. Like he just feels like I'll say it like this to put in a quicker term. He seems like a guy, if he's fighting, he's aiming for the most efficient, vicious thing he can do the quickest. He is going to target your vitals and he's going to think of the most efficient thing he can do. He's not, I think he's an efficiency type of person. I don't think he's going to be wasting his time doing the rest of that. That's the way I see it.
Okay, so I'm kind of lock in step with Vince just because I know that like I could like what you're saying Miles isn't crazy to me just because I know how smart Gustang is and what hands he has in terms of like medicine and science, and that includes the blood of jihad and the way that they use that process to enhance princesses, right? So I do think that he understands a way to just enhance himself physically naturally. But just like Vince said, I don't think he's using any of those things on himself for any reason. He's not gonna use it on himself. It just what's the point? He doesn't need to. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
exactly.
I absolutely don't see him doing that. But the I do wanted to talk about this one portion too, just because I know that if I remember correctly, when it comes to wave controlling, Eurasia was the one that was the offensive powerhouse, and she can do crazy shit like it accelerate Shinsu to make you like die of old age or something like that. I can't remember what the blog post says. I might have added the old age part, but I know she could accelerate Shinsu, whatever that means.
Yeah, she can accelerate the Shinsu. That's what I was talking about too.
But Gustang was known as a wave controller supporter, which means he was more defensive, right?
Yeah.
So, do you think that he has techniques, abilities, and Shinsu boosting qualities that makes his defenses very hard to get through, impenetrable? I'm somewhat thinking of Gara of the Sand in a very lazy way, like he just kind of just blocks shit with Shinsu. Like
no, but that makes sense. That makes sense though. He putting up barriers, protecting himself. You can't smash through it.
Yeah.
I can definitely see that. That makes a lot of sense to me. But also I can see. But the reason I brought up the offensive thing, the acceleration, because you were saying the whole point of him saying that he couldn't accept that she was better at that. I said, see, now that's something he might try to improve on because that's also kind of in his category too. His initial, like I said, I know they can do everything.
But that's why I would say that's because he knows he can't ever beat her in that. He has to find other ways to improve himself.
Yeah, but I don't think he's gonna. It's somebody who can do that. You're not beating them with punches and kicks though either.
True. But I mean, if like our powers are equal, any slight advantage is probably gonna help, even if it's just to throw you off.
No, my thing, if you're gonna do that, see, the thing you said about the steroids would be closer in the thing, but to me, it wouldn't be steroids to make him physically stronger. It'd be something like he creates something to shut off your Shinsu or your usage of something like that. It'd be something like that. I can see him doing something like that, but I don't think he's gonna use it for a physical boost. He's gonna do something to give him a boost in a different way.
No, that's fair. That's actually completely fair.
Emilio,
kind of like a hell jump thing.
You want to chime in?
Yeah.
What I was going to say is
my bad, bro.
Given the level of Shinsu doping, because the longer you're in Shinsu, supposedly the stronger you're supposed to get. The level of Shinsu resistance that each of them have, the potency of their attacks. I would say, given just if we're being just completely hypothetical with what we've seen thus far, T got it, like in every way, shape, or form. Because if he can change himself into any beast, and this is only if that is what he can like do.
Yeah, obviously, we're in headcanon territory. We don't worry.
Exactly. If that is what he can do, then I got T, because there will be nothing that Gustang could do to stop that. We literally, I can't speak on that. Never mind. But we seen some things later on that he can do that if he can wield that power from one of his animas, then it's curtains. It's wraps for anybody. He would literally be able to control exactly where you are and then channel something that is like atom destroying. So
okay.
I got T.
For Shinsu.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
For Shinsu.
That's interesting.
No, I don't have them because the way that they've just constructed I mean, I'm not mad at you for saying that because I don't think none of this is like really far away or anything like that.
Yeah.
But the way they've just built up Gustang's personality, his image, and everything they've said about him, see, to me, he strikes me as somebody who he already know all that. He might know how he might know how Traumerei's power work as well as he do.
Yeah.
Like I don't know that for sure, but he could.
Yeah,
He seems
he
like
might
that
see
type
that
of
point
guy.
in the Infinity.
I will say this.
Yeah, he could.
I do think you can overlook the fact that the person who started to understand and record Shinsu around them was Gustang. So I do think he has.
Yeah, I
Just
think his
I think
technical level's
I
the
think he just
highest.
has a deeper understanding and better usage of it than Traumerei does. I don't think
Yeah,
it's
and
like night and day, and you know what I'm saying. But like
right. Exactly. Yeah.
heaven and earth.
But I'm also
But
talking about what we know about what we talk about Gustang's ties into the workhouse too.
yeah.
They're the people who make all the weapons.
Hmm.
Yes.
So he gotta know. So he gotta know some inner workings of how. Just in general, you would think you have to know inner workings of how certain things work.
And this is
Like,
also why I'm going to give him Shinsu as well. He's also the guy that created a literal device that helps you automatically know what your quality and shape is.
Yeah, but
Before he became a ranker, like while they were still like on floor like 40.
what I will say, because I'm hearing that mentioned a lot, like the fact that he recorded, he researched it and all that, Shinsu and all that. But it's like an analogy with like the trainer and the boxer. Like, can the trainer beat the boxer because the trainer knows more than the boxer, or would the boxer beat the trainer because of skill? I think the boxer
no,
would beat the trainer.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. If the trainer is 80 years old, well, of course he's gonna lose. But if they're pretty close, your knowledge can give you the bonus, the plus against somebody, even if they're stronger or faster than you. If you already know what they're gonna do before they do it, it don't matter how fast they are, or how stronger they are than you. You already know how to counter it.
Yeah.
If you already know all the inner workings of everything he's gonna do, not saying that he does, but if we just saying if he knows all the way of how Shinsu works and everything Traumerei could do from a Shinsu uh, vantage point, it
Thank
don't
you for the
matter if
follow.
Traumerei's stronger than him.
I will say this: it's not like I get your point. It's not a bad point. It's just that I don't think it. I just don't think it's like a perfect like example. Just because I could look at that from so many standpoints. What if he used to be a boxer, right? What
That's
if?
what I'm saying. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. He has
yeah.
to be considered. He got to be a considerably more skilled to me for
There's
that to matter.
there's like kids that I've played with who are obviously better baseball players than me. I don't play baseball, but I'm just bigger and stronger and faster, right? So
Talented, yeah.
there's nothing they could really do until they just have the physical makeup. And then like there's coaches who are just theoretical. They know the game from seeing it, being around it. There's some who are like the hybrid. They've played, or someone who just played it and they think they know it. They don't know the theoretical. And then there's a hybrid. Some of them who have played the game and I've been around it for so long, they can do a little bit of both. Because I tend to respect my coaches who can walk the talk, not just talk what they're doing. So again, it's not crazy because again, yeah, you could be the trainer and understand everything, but sometimes that one piece of knowledge, even though you're fighting against somebody with more talent or more latent talent than you, just because you have that one thing over them, it makes it easier for you to beat them. Case in point, my one friend is actually way better than me in Smash Brothers, but he doesn't understand frame data. So I know when he throws out something so unsafe when he never beats me because of that one difference. That's the only reason why I beat him. His technical buttoning and all that is way better than mine, but he has a lack of frame data understanding. So I know exactly, oh, that's 4 frames. This comes out in 3, you lose. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think because Shinsu also is a power system where knowledge can almost directly make you just that much stronger from understanding, I would just have a hard time finding the arguably smartest man in the tower not just being better than him in every category. Plus, being a wave controller automatically makes him have a better control and understanding just talent-wise.
But all right.
I
But
was
yeah,
going to say,
go ahead, though.
I was going to bring up Erasure and said that she was more talented than him.
She
And
is.
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
That's
no,
true.
no,
That's
she is,
true.
but I'm saying,
so
but I'm
like,
saying,
at this point, I'm just like, all right, I got it.
That's true though. She was
No,
better.
I mean, we don't know any of this
we
for
don't.
sure. But
I'm not
just
even
going
saying
based
you're
off
wrong. I'm just saying
what
that like I
did.
could flip
Yeah.
that in another way that either
Right,
works
exactly.
in my favor or makes the point negligible. That's all I was saying.
Yeah, I don't. I just for me that
Yeah.
that analogy just don't work. Just don't work for me. Also, just as a person who was a fighter, that'll work for me either.
yeah.
So
All right. So
So far,
yeah.
well, we 1-1 right now, though. So you know,
So the physical we're giving to Traumerei and
Traumerei.
Shinsu we're giving to Thing. Okay. So what?
Yeah.
So what else? What else do you think we need to get into? Intellect
we can do
Well,
it.
we-
I was gonna say
we giving that
technology.
we giving that to go.
slash
Yeah.
wisdom. Like I don't know if there's. I mean, yeah, I think that one is.
I know that comes in different forms, but if we're just
Yeah.
doing it overall, it's Gustang.
Yeah, Gustang got it all.
For at least so far, how they've been portrayed.
Yeah.
So
I guess we could do a category of how do you think his tech and his weapons are comparable or better than Traumerei and his beast?
Okay, that's fair. The Saint, not yet. Just wait. We're gonna have a section for that. Just give me like 20 more minutes, and then we'll get into that part. Okay, so yeah, that's I do want to get into the anima stuff and everything too. So yeah, that's I think will be very interesting because we don't know everything that Traumerei has, but we do know. Like I'm sure he has some crazy beasts and monsters that we haven't seen yet at all any capacity. That's probably something we couldn't even fathom. But this is
that's the interesting part.
This is where it gets interesting. Because as someone who works with the workshop, I'm sure he has some issue with him in his weapon inventory, right? I'm sure he does.
Mm-hmm.
But is it raw? Is it beating Cobalt? Like yo, that frog go crazy, dog. That frog is the great.
You are crazy.
Yo, I love that frog so fucking much. I'm probably neutral on this one. I could give an argument for Gustang and literally counter it with Traumerei, or give it for Traumerei and counter it with Gustang. So I'm not sure. But go ahead.
I'm gonna argue Gustang clears.
Oh, okay. Talk to me.
So I think the versatility of Traumerei's beast is definitely nothing no one can scoff at. Just the fact that he has a frog that can cause instant teleportation is crazy. Someone in the chat did bring this up, which is a good point, though, is when Urek did his space thing, going through space and teleporting, Gustang's like, yeah, I know you can do that. That's dangerous. Why are you doing that? Do you want to kill everybody? So it seems at least baseline, all strong irregulars can go through space, also kind of causing this almost instant teleportation feed. You know what I mean? And then we're going tech. It's just, this is a man again. His intelligence is insane. And just the simple fact that he has the relationship with the workshop, I think the only person that can come comparable to him in terms of weaponry is Jahard, and that's it.
In some ways, I honestly think this is too tough to say because this really does come down to like the other ones. At least I can make more, inferred version of it. But this was like, do you believe in the tech or do you believe in the destructive power of whatever animals that he pulled out? So I'm a believe in the tech. So I'm gonna go with the tech because I feel like at least with the tech, especially if he already knows what like I said, this is all depending on how much he knows about Traumerei. But if he already knows what Traumerei has or has a good inkling of what he has in his bag, he can make something to counter that. Or there might be something already in existence to counter that. So I'm gonna just go with that.
We're talking about versatility and just understanding it. All right, the way that I'm gonna put it is, if we're talking about just sheer versatility and outside of just being able to understand, I'll give it to T, primarily because T has more at his disposal that I've seen visually than I've seen for Gustang.
That's fair.
Now, if we're going for his affiliations and everything that he could possibly have, I'll still give it to T, because Gustang, even though he knows how people can do things, he still can't do certain things. Like the acceleration that Erasure did. Instead of trying to figure it out, he was like, "Nah, man, bump you, man. I don't care about you. Care about you no more. I love you though, but I don't care about you." Like he kind of adopted that type of mentality. So it just leads me to believe that there are things that he can do and there are things that he can't do. But he is all knowing. So I would say versatility would still go to T with me. Just given what I know.
I definitely think he has an animal or creature for for most situations, and I do think that some of them have like crazy, terrifying ability. Like Cobalt is easily like can teleport around. Wouldn't be surprised if one of the sea dragons could do something crazy. He could be very very simple. Just hit you with something that hurts a lot. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. This is one of the ones where like it's negligible for me. I think it's just kind of depends where you're at and what you're thinking, but. I the ultimate thing that I'm just gonna say here for why like again I want to be very very clear. This is one of those situations where it's like if I'm in the Tower of God universe and I pull up Emily, and you know what I'm saying, and Emily's got some like news and it says Gustang and Traumerei had a battle and Traumerei won, wouldn't be shocked. Gustang won, wouldn't be shocked. It was a draw, wouldn't be shocked. Inconclusive, wouldn't be shocked. No outcome would shock me. The main reason why I personally give the edge to Gustang is solely due to his intellect. I think he's much smarter than Traumerei, though I don't think Traumerei is stupid in any capacity. But
yeah, that's a fact.
That's why I have Gustang winning a fight. I don't want to say Batman prep time or anything like that, but you know, I would throw that in there.
Because my thing is to overcome intellect and to overcome because the only ones that they kind of talk about of the 10 great families that like obviously they're all special. They're all special. But the ones they obviously talk about above everybody else with Jihad, Erdogan, and Ariha. So if you told me like Ariha, like I don't think Ariha is probably like as far as like more creative or any other that than any other people, but his raw power might be so significant he just smashes through everything.
Yeah, no, I still think you're and him and Edwan are the top three. And Erasia's.
That's what I'm saying, but it would have to be something like that. Mm-hmm. Like, because in the face of pure destructive power, sometimes none of that other shit matters.
Yes.
But when we're in a situation where we don't know enough about these guys and they didn't speak on them separating themselves from one another, I'm going with the guy who's the smartest.
I think another hard thing about this is that I think he's probably one of the few that I think didn't remain stagnant once they finished their climb. Because he's obviously had a plan to leave and fight Jihad, which means that we know for a fact at least he's been doing stuff for tens of thousands of years to get ready. Well, it seems like maybe a lot of these guys at some point probably haven't trained or done anything.
The ones out here just clapping cheeks, like
yeah,
very unserious.
Traumerei's probably just in his room, just chilling, not talking.
He looking at ants clapping cheeks. He is, man. I'm a furry. He a furry, bro. I'm telling you, bestiality.
And when we see
he just everything. He just what do they call it? Pansexual.
And we see Gustang. We see Gustang just do crazy things. If I can instantly heal people just by looking at them. I can give Rachel this random ass eel that has crazy powers of unknown, like coming in during the war at the end of season 2, teleporting the ring and the band towards
treasure seeking eel.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and also because like I said, we haven't seen. If we're just basing off what we've seen, yes, everything Traumerei's done has been more impressive from a fight capacity. Mm-hmm. From what you would think of from a fighting capacity. Yeah, Traumerei probably has the edge because we haven't seen Gustang fight anybody or do anything from a fighting standpoint. So
we see them heal Rachel, take the souls from White, and then we know that we can use spatial distortion because of the conversation with Rek and other things.
Yeah,
but he's out here making moves.
So. And that's why his application of his knowledge is terrifying, even though it hasn't been shown in a pure fight stance.
What I'm going to say is all of his feats, just from a sheer Shinsu capability standpoint, has been that of a white mage. My dude has 0 black mage abilities. My dude is a lover, not a fighter. I'm just gonna say that.
That's
There's
actually not a bad comparison.
Does Gustang have a closed beam? Nah, only Piccolo has a closed beam, bro. Okay. Before I open it up to like so we can fully properly unleash, let's just quickly go through everything. So design, it was 3-1. It was 3-1 Traumerei. So Traumerei went design, right?
Yeah.
What do we say? Who
Yeah.
who do we do for roll? Was it split or was it? I don't remember.
I think it was split.
Yeah. I think it's
Was it me and you?
I-
Me and
Might
you,
have been-
Vince?
might
Was
have
it?
been Gustang.
yeah. I want to say it was.
I think was it personality Gustang?
I think so. I think you 3 had Gustang. I had T.
Yeah, I think for Gustang we had
No, it was split again because I picked Traumerei too for
Oh, okay.
personality. So it's 2-2 split the last two.
Okay, so
'Cause, yeah, with roll I was with Gustang too. So
okay, so me and you take Gustang for roll, and then I think you guys said Traumer. So this one's split. So those two are split, and family we said Traumerei, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, physical we gave to Traumerei.
Yes.
Shinsu
Yes.
we gave to Gustang. Intellect,
Gustang.
Gus, and what was the last thing we were talking about? I guess you like the
Egg versus animal.
basically who had a deeper bag. We said what?
I say
I think-
Gustang.
yeah. I say Gustang has a deeper bag.
Say T. I'm all alone.
I'm
So it's up to you now.
Man, you pick T for like every single one.
Naya, I know you. I know you.
Better, man.
Naya, I know
Yes,
you want to
we-
say Gustang. Just say Gustang.
Yeah, 3-1.
Hold on. You know,
Don't do this.
Because he's smarter, man. I know he got a deeper bag, bro. He Kyrie Irving. His bag is unlimited. All right.
That's what I'm saying. Because I'm including the quote unquote the white mage abilities in his bag. Because if you can heal yourself and you can teleport, you do all that stuff, that's part of your bag too.
Mhm.
So you
Yeah.
incorporate that into some offensive capabilities, you get real nasty.
Okay, so
Until you get Exodia obliterated.
See,
Healing
but he's
it.
not
Then
going
he-
to. That's what I'm talking about. They're not
he-
that matters if they were that far in string, which they're not.
He's gonna pull up some shield that can automatically cancel out every form of Shinsu. He's got it.
Because like the way you're talking about like pure destructive power, that's like Bam versus most people he fight. Because like, what did SIU always say? Oh,
But he a
Bam has
liar.
not got better endurance. He don't got better control. But guess what? He's pure raw destructive ability. So who cares?
Mhm.
He hits you, it's done.
Fact.
But I don't think that's that type of like for that to happen between these two, there would have to be a considerable gap, which I don't believe there is, because it's never been stated to be, as far as we know. Obviously, they're probably never gonna fight, but there's no, as far as the way he's saying it, the only gap is between Jihad and everybody else, and maybe as far as a fighter, Ariha and everybody else.
Mhm.
It's Jihad, Ariha, and then everybody else.
Yes.
So
So I think in terms of category, Gustang edged up by 1. If my math
that
is
sounds about right.
if my math is
Yeah.
correct. So, yeah. So that's what we got
sounds fair.
here. I mean, you know, it is what it is. I'm see what chat's saying real quick, and then we'll open it up. So, Jihad locked his daughter up. He's been plotting. Does Gustang has a close beam? I said that. Right? Drama has a drip. Gustang is close behind. All right. Traumerei has a part-time job at PetSmart. Traumerei bag breeds to make more bags. Shoot. When Yama smashes, all his positions are doggy style. Wow. Bro,
that's a crazy state. That's a crazy sentence. That's one thing I know.
all right.
How do y'all come up with this?
Hold on. You are free now. You are free, my sons. You are free, my
I was
sons.
gonna say
All right, go ahead.
I was gonna say even before the raw stuff. I was gonna say I meant to bring this out earlier with the Shinsu control, but I actually think we can relatively guesstimate Gustang's quality and shape.
Go ahead.
So when it comes to wave controllers, we kind of have been told probably what the tools you need to be the best wave controller are, right?
Mhm.
So that would be attention, having an orb, and then being able to control prayer Shinsu. And this is a contention where I'm curious if you guys do you think there's a water attribute?
Yes.
Shinsu quality?
I know that Shinsu, when it's really pure, it kind of looks like water. But I think
Yes.
I think the water vapor
The
also
same
kind of
thing.
yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you think controlling pure Shinsu, to control pure water Shinsu, you would have to have a water attribute? Do you think they're like separate things, somewhat similar, or like that?
It's hard
Or
to
do you think they're like the same thing?
It's hard to say
You see what I'm saying?
because divine because Shinsu is literally divine water. So like naturally it's supposed to be
Right.
kind of liquid in this. And when you see Bam and like Hansung Yu use theirs because of how like I guess the level of purity it is, it looks kind of like water. But I do think that you can have the quality of legitimate like a rapid tide or a tidal wave or like you know a sea quake and all of those things. So I do I could see like Gustang being able to put somebody in a literal bubble and put water in it and like drown them or something. So I do think it's a little different. I do think that
Even if it didn't have the water attribute?
I think he would have it if that's their attribute.
Yes.
I think he would have it. So
Yes.
because
Okay.
I think
So,
Boric
yeah,
probably
so-
inherited that water mist thingy from
Yes.
Gustang.
So, so like, and this is going. At least we can use Bam, Eurasia, and all these other guys, right? Because you has a water attribute if it's the thing. Well, it's like bubbles. But I agree. The Lightborg has water vapor, and I think that stems from Gusting. Where I think Gusting doesn't have a pure water attribute, and that's one of the reasons why he can't go down the path of Wave Controller. Well, I think Eurasia would have a pure water attribute.
Okay.
And that's probably one of the branching reasons as to why he can't do this. And then two, his shape, I can say both confidently Eurasia and Gusting actually don't have orbs. None of the great families have orbs.
Just V.
No, V doesn't have an orb either, I don't think.
But V.
So when Data I think he has an arrow.
You think V has an arrow?
Yes.
They have multiple.
No, they can't. You can only have one shape. You can have multiple attributes.
Hold on. Didn't V have an orb?
Yeah.
No, that was yes. He has the best tension.
Tension. Actually, you're right. It was
overstated.
tension. It was. I'm about to say, was
Yeah.
it orb? Was it specifically tension? Because I know Vanka has a flame orb. So okay.
Yes.
Maybe I misremembered.
So the two things with this is one, when Dadaja Heart is fighting Bam, Bam specifically puts his Shinwan Ryu within a orb, and Dadaja's Heart says, "I have never seen this before," which could only mean that no one else could have an orb because by this time everybody already had their attributes and Shinwan Ryu and were combining the 2
Mm-hmm.
So for him to never see it before means that they cannot have said.
By the way, for everyone
could this be-
everyone asking, you guys know that Gustang is 14. He's not 8. He's 14. He's under Ratio by 1. By the way, sorry, keep going. He's ranked 14.
Yeah. So I don't think any of them have an orb. So at least we can argue that he doesn't have an orb, and I think he has some water type.
Wait, where's
And going
Traumerei
with the-
ranked?
It's not given.
I don't think
But
we
you could
have-
probably
we-
guess.
we don't-
You
we
can guess
don't-
like 19 or 20.
We don't have it.
We don't have his or Ari.
It goes. It's 1 is Fanta, 2 is Enryu, 3 is Jihad, then 4 is Zarek, 5 is Arie Han, 6 is Kunadwan, 7 is Adori Jihad and Eurasia and Jihad, 9 is Bayak Ryun, 10 is Ha Yurin, 11 is Tupuri, 12 is Malik 1.
You know though. Shout out
PGR.
to Dory though, man. Shout out to Dory, because
Yeah.
because even though she's not probably stronger than any family here, like considerably though, you got to be to even be like at 7 though.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
13 is Eurasia, 14 is Gustang, 15 is Looselek, and interestingly enough, Looselek is above Hendo, and Neon Henna, who are 16 and 17 respectively. So
Yeah. No.
Oh, that's the member I forgot when we were talking about who we think is neutral and stuff like all that.
Oh, Yeon?
I think she could be no. I think Blood Matter is part of it.
Wait. Finish your point,
Well, yeah,
Miles,
before
so we can unleash.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just say Mukai. It's because there's 2-7 that there isn't a rank 8. But V. So no, V was never stated to have an orb. When Edwan saw him have an orb, he was literally stating how this is like really impressive that you have such a rare type. He said the reason why orbs is also like kind of hard to use is because you have to have good tension to maintain the shape of an orb. Then he specifically says your father has the best tension out of all of us.
Yeah.
So I think he has an arrow because everything that's not a needle or something that like a hook, swords and everything else were brought into the tower.
What if
The
you
only
got,
two people
what if you
ever
got a
to-
gun? I'm joking. Keep going.
Yeah, I mean, possible. But the only times we ever seen arrows used is Bam used an arrow
To teleport.
subconsciously when he made out of his soul, which means that's probably really intrinsic to him. And 2, which was Kel Helm, which is part of an Elder of Fug and New V. So we can assume then that the weapon that V brought into the tower was an arrow. And thus, I would argue, since it seems most of your Shinsu qualities and shapes kind of form after like kind of your abilities and who you are, because I think it's safe to say REA probably has a sword. Edwin has a spear, so he's a spear bearer. So I would argue he probably had a arrow.
Okay. All right. Now, my sons, you are free. Unleash the power of the Raws.
Y'all bumped y'all goddamn minds. I
All
do
right.
not believe this. My boy used a Shinwan Ryu. All creatures. All creatures. And his name itself is kind of I forgot what it translates to. I think it was like daydream or something like that.
Say it again.
Man, that's not moving me, man. When we talk about another irregular, his fucking Gustang's and fucking Shinryu could be destructive black hole, omni spear, blah blah blah. They're like, oh, you know, that's not moving me, man.
That ain't gonna be tech, man. This man gonna be off this straight like what's the name of that kid? Teen Titans. The
Beast
Gizmo.
Boy?
His
Gizmo.
gonna be like Gizmos, man.
Man, see, look at that. You just bluffing, nigga. I understand you got an agenda to run, but this getting nasty, man. Like, come on, man. It is shameless.
Oh shit. All right. So what about the Raws that do you think changes anything that we were unable to talk about? 'Cause we did get to see him flex his Shinwan Ryu, all creatures.
Well, we were talking about the family members. I forgot about the 2 princesses. In his,
Okay.
I couldn't say them, but I was like, oh, well, we do know about them, and they show, and also when we, Elaine and stuff like that. So his family members are pretty fucking. But we already gave them the win anyway, as far as his family being the better family. But it's just like I gotta include them in there now. Got 2 princesses.
You know what?
Which is interesting because they don't seem very
Go ahead. Sorry.
animal based. My bad. I'm just saying they don't seem very animal based. So I wonder if they do got some animal powers. Now that I think about it.
So, fair enough.
Go ahead, Joe. My bad.
I just wanted to know if anyone thought that like his ability of all creatures changed. Because the reason why I wasn't too impressed about it is because I was like, it doesn't change what I think. It is what I think about the overall battle. Solely due to the fact that I haven't seen Gustang do that. And if he does do
That's
that,
what I'm saying.
it'll have
movement.
I'm sure it'll have the same results in terms of spooking everybody, making them freeze in their steps, and all those type of things, right? So,
Man, these are irregulars. I know both these guys could destroy whole entire floors. Like,
yeah.
It's not moving. As far as the argument between them.
So we're assuming that he's combining his attribute and shit into the Shinran-ryu, right?
I don't know what I could only infer. I don't have the answer.
Yeah.
Because Shinran-ryus are kind of like canvases in what they, because I would all base Shinran-ryu is kind of the same.
You say so? I don't know.
And no.
He hasn't.
That's how you've been kind of.
That's what I say. The black Shinsu sphere stuff has just been kind of like.
Well, isn't that supposed to be? It's supposed to be a mistranslation, right?
Yeah, I know about that. But I'm just saying, like,
because I've heard a name which I think probably sounds better, which is like it's supposed to be kind of like a divine whirlpool, which to me actually makes a lot more sense, because you're basically, since irregulars can control like the actual shins, like all the Shinsu like around them and shit, you're basically rotating and combining all the like the Shinsu in the air into one point. And when you compress it and shit, that's where you can like make bombs and do all that stuff. but because you're compiling it so close, that's what causes that canceling out effect for everything, because it absorbs the Shinsu of attacks that are coming to it, and it like disassembles it.
Yeah. And you can also make it explode within your own body
Yes.
to give yourself a power boost, a la Dano Jihad on the hidden floor. And it's supposed to be similar to Redan, like the lightning pill, without the after effects. That's like the non-regular way to do it that hurts your body after the fact. So like I understand what we've seen and what we do, but like I just kind of think that sometimes he has these moments where it does what he wants it to do in the moment, so I can't really make sense of it all the time.
Yeah, but if his attribute is beast, which is really, really, really vague, but if he's doing that with the Shinryu and he does an internal thing, that might be his version of like his beastification.
Okay.
Of like when he like internalizes in his body, maybe that's how he activates the power of the beast.
He has that other form because, like I said, but I don't know if he's the type of dude where he got more than one form or not, because he very well could have like 80 different forms. But you remember when he first pops up and they showed like the little photo of him, it is completely different from the guy we have now, wearing this mask and all this
the
stuff.
one where he's like in like the forest and stuff, and he has like the horns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking like an ancestral deer god.
Just real quick, just for everybody in the chat right now, just so you guys know, 'cause I guess some of you don't know, right? Because you don't know, I'm always caught up to the latest Tower of God chapter. I read Ross. I made a video about this. I guess a lot of people I haven't seen. I'm always caught up to the Ross. I just don't speak about them in public or on the channel until it's time to speak about it. I have specific streams where I'll do it, and then I'll like lock it behind Patreon. So like. I think 539 is the latest one that came out, and I read it like 4 hours after Alpha Scans dropped it. So, I'm always caught up. I just don't speak about it in the comment section or on Twitter crazy. I usually go in DMs or in certain spaces because I know there's some people who are fast pass only or who just read officially every week, and I want to be mindful to them. So just in case, cause I think some of them still think that I just read it week to week online on Webtoon, and I don't. I've been off that wave because y'all was trying to pass off predictions as like. Well, spoilers predictions. They'd be like, "Oh, like what if, like basically, let's say I didn't read the next chapter. But like, what if Traumerei flexed his Shinwan Ryu and all his creatures whenever? Like that's the shit y'all was doing, and it was not.
Bro, y'all was it's so
They
bad. They were so bad at it too. Like you didn't even try.
They were so shameless. Like, how would you feel if White actually got the upper hand on bet? Like, come on, bro. So yeah. Thank you for the follow.
That part didn't even turn out like that.
Yeah, they were, and as a result of that, I first just did fast pass, so y'all stop spoiling me. But then like I got too curious, and I just went all the way in. So yeah. Anyways, again,
no. I'm caught up on the fast pass.
Wait, is he saying Miller? Does he think my name is Miller?
I was wondering if. Oh no! It's Milios, Miles, and Vince and Anaya. What's up, Miller?
Man called Miller.
What's up, Miller? But yeah, no, the Shinwan Ryu stuff didn't really change anything for me yet, honestly. I will say this though. See, we did get to see his like dragon and I guess a bit more action and see him summon 3 creatures at the same time with the big kraken. Then it was like the sea dragon, one of the 3 plus cobalt, so that was interesting. And he packed away Yasracha like easily, but Yasracha reformed himself because his core was whatever the fuck. So that was pretty cool.
Was intact, yeah.
I have a question. Do you think that the sea dragons are stronger than the 7?
No.
Okay.
I think he has something that's probably under the Leviathan.
Yeah. And a lot, like, there's a part of me that thinks that the Leviathan was supposed to be his, like, magnum opus beast, in a sense.
I disagree heavily.
No, I said there's a part of me. I'm not fully all the way there yet. There's a part of me that thinks that. But, because
I definitely think it would have been in the 23, yeah.
I guess it depends. I think it depends on what you think. Do you think Traumerei put him in the Suspendium and had the Odd-Eye Cobra guarding it because it was so strong and dangerous he didn't want it roaming? Or he punished it for not recognizing him as his master? Is it a punishment or is it like straight up imprisonment because it's dangerous? What do you think?
Punishment, 1,000%.
Okay.
And I can re-explain it for people who weren't here yesterday. My belief is that when they were taking the administrator test, because every single administrator test involves you fighting Shinwei, that's why the positions were formed in the first place. They fought the Leviathan. They didn't. It doesn't have to say that they beat it, but the test involved the Leviathan, and Traumerei in his arrogance tried to acquire it at a younger age. He was rejected, and when he did, then later came and got his power. He punished it for not seeing how strong he is. And the reason why I say they had to have met it earlier and definitely did meet it is because Lekishius, whatever the Neil of Jihad's name is, its third stage is specifically called Leviathan, and I would have a hard time believing there's another Leviathan out there in the tower.
That's interesting.
Could be multiple. Because
Could be.
that's actually a part of my theory is that the armor that Jihad has is a Leviathan. I didn't even know the name. It was just because it looks just like the Leviathan, especially Karaka's armor. It looks just like the Leviathan, and so if you just take that into account, the Leviathan could be as strong as it claims to be. And
I
there's
think it's top. I think it would have been in his 23 for sure. I don't think it would have been like his strongest though.
You think floor 23 is what that thing would be on after we just discussed?
No, like
yesterday?
it would have been in his 23 beast.
Oh, it's 23rd, one of his 23.
Yeah.
What I will say is, given what we talked about yesterday, Bam acknowledged the creature as being incredibly dangerous and that it couldn't be let out on the floor.
Yes.
We haven't heard Bam say that about anything really outside of when he then said it immediately after that, a couple of chapters ahead, about T. And he was like, if I make a move, I'll die in an instant. So if those are the only two things that actually made him be introspective and not have that can do, I can win if I try attitude, then it's dangerous.
Yes. But this is two pushbacks, I would say. One, I think that Leviathan probably has a really specific ability that is going to be something that helps Bam with devouring or whatever. That's like a really specifically catered thing, right? So even though I would say its power is equivalent to one of his 23, there's probably something really special about it that will probably have some later impact. That I don't disagree with. But also, I believe that if a Raging Rapid was in that thing, I do think Bam would say the same thing. I think he would say, this is a dangerous beast that we can't let out, because at this point he doesn't think the family head is there. And one of these 23 beasts, they're all extremely powerful. Like, literally, Yasracha got his entire body destroyed by one 12 swing of the octopus. So these 23 beasts are insane.
Yeah, but this beast also did what Yasracha tried to do, given the fact that it had its free will and it wanted to kill T. So, granted, it could have been hubris on its part and thinking that it was able to stand on the same level as T, but the thing is, it wanted to kill him. Bam didn't. True. So thinking about
it, because Bam said he was gonna get annihilated if he even thought about doing that.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Bam acknowledged the strength of T. Leviathan or Levy or whatever you want to call it, pseudo Leviathan. It didn't. It wanted to murder that man. You can say I don't think hubris or whatever.
But I don't think that just simply be from the fact that it doesn't know any better. It's like legit.
I think it ties in with the Bible, the Bible's interpretation of Leviathan being the king of pride, the beast of pride. There are a lot of literatures in different religious contexts where Leviathan is actually associated with envy, the sin of envy, but I think that is to pride. I think SCU is trying to play into that a lot. Like, it's a very prideful beast.
Also, I don't think Traum has put anything on to tame it, because if it tamed it, I don't think the punishment would then fit. Because if it's like, I tame you to like respect and like me, then me putting you in a cage isn't gonna hurt you. It's letting you keep your identity and still caging you is gonna piss you off more, which is what I want to do if I'm punishing you. But I think he specifically let him keep his personality intact. Because it's so prideful, being locked in a cage is only going to piss it off more, which is exactly what he wants to do.
But T don't take away the free will of the monsters or the beast that he tamed. If you look at Yasracha when he
does it? Well, I think Yasracha is a little different because But I mean, Cobalt and them, I don't. To me, it doesn't seem like they have any form of consciousness outside of what Tom's telling them to do.
I don't know. It's hard to say. I would argue that a lot of these animas that we've seen kind of come to life and be animated, they have their personality. It's just that is the person that's wielding it, do they know how to work with it? Like, for example, owl. You get a horny ass bird. He's like, I ain't fighting. He's like, I'll find you some owl bitches. I'm fighting. Like, I think there's like a way to like to motivate them to do things. I think that Traumerei's probably his method he wants to do is he wants you to willingly submit and just do what he says. I do think he could force it.
Yeah,
But,
absolute domination.
yeah.
That's what I think he has. Is absolute domination.
Yeah.
And just to clarify, just in chat, anyone's confused. As far as we know, think Michael Jordan, 23. Traumerei has 23 beasts that basically let's just say he's a Pokemon master. Instead of 6, he has 23. But there are some that he's willing to give out to his sons and high-ranking people in his family, like the Odd-Eye Cobra. There are 7 specifically we know that he wields himself. I think those 7, no one else, he's never lent it, he's never borrowed it out, and he's not planning on to. Those 7 are his. That's how I took it.
Do you think it's probably the same?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you think it's the same for the Sea Dragons? That's all.
No, I think the sea dragons he was specifying it's one of the 3 types of sea dragons that he has. But I do think that the way that it's been translated makes it very confusing. So there's probably a little bit of wiggle room for like for like an error or something. But that's how I interpreted it.
Got you. Okay.
So there's 23 in total. If I was like, hey, Cobalt's kind of cool, and say Cobalt's not one of the 7, he wields himself. Like, here you go, man. Here you go, my son. Type beat. So yeah, interesting how the octopus and Ready Rapid are the sign have the omega signs on their eyes, but Cobalt and the eel don't. Yeah, that is a good. Actually, it's an important detail because that seems to be the symbol of the Lopabia family. Because didn't he ride on some weird omega symbol when he came out on his chair? Wasn't he? I gotta find it. No, I'll find it. You guys talk.
Yes.
It created a symbol like that too, or something like that. Somebody pointed it out.
That might be like his brand. Like when he puts the absolute domination on, it comes up as a brand, and that might be that. Where like if we believe that some are, maybe Cobalt, because it seems like he does kind of have a conversation with Cobalt a little bit. I don't know. So maybe Cobalt has its free will.
Yeah.
While Raging Rapid and the octopus, it's like, no, you guys just can't even really think without doing it.
That's not a bad point.
That's possible.
And then again, Cobalt's description was a little different. Didn't it say he did something to ascend into a deity guardian or something like that? So maybe that also plays into it. So
yeah. 10,000 snakes. I remember that detail. That's crazy.
Yeah, whatever
he was wearing this snakes like a necklace.
That man had snake spaghetti.
He dripped out and got a 25 carat snake around his neck.
Yeah, because we've seen 3 of his 7 beasts, 1 of the 3 sea dragons, and then just 1 of the others. Yeah, that's about.
We also saw the giant silver tail hair something harpy Fandore.
Yeah, that's one of the 7.
Yeah, we've seen that too. But again, yeah, it's hard to say. I'm gonna read a couple of translations and I'll probably make a video explaining that because I do think that was confusing to me. So
yes,
I will clarify that. But
so if the ones that he does lend out would be something like his 8th son, we could probably argue then probably the top branch heads, like those top families. Those beasts are probably one of the 23 that he does have. So he might have a horse, an owl, and a spider.
One per.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I don't think he's gonna have a windbird because they kind of fucking suck.
Yeah, Fedora Harpy. There we go. Yeah.
Didn't he just loan the windbird out to that branch leader, the stormbird that got blocked, by the bullet?
Yeah, I don't think did. They say he lended it out?
I thought he was one of the 23. That stormbird.
Oh, you mean the wind? I don't know. I don't remember.
Was it?
I have to go back. I don't recall. I don't recall them saying that, but you might be right. I don't remember the Windbird having the being one of his beasts. But I'll check in a second.
Just saying. I thought it was.
No possibility.
But yeah. Just looking at T just from the standpoint of like how he handles things, the ancient Ardai Cobra, it never really showed consciousness, but in a flashback we seen that one of the branch leaders
Could
or
talk
one
through
of
it,
his
right?
sons talked through him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But we
yeah.
never seen it have consciousness, but it was under the son's control. So I don't think that he necessarily have to control everything and it will lose consciousness. He can just turn it on and off whenever he wants to, like how he did with Yazracha in the flashback. With Yazracha in the flashback, he turned it on. Yazracha didn't even realize what he did until the end. Well, no, he did know, but he couldn't control himself until the end.
Yeah.
And the only person who was able to not be controlled that we know of outside of what Levy said is that is Wang Wang. And Wang Wang said that he couldn't be controlled because of the three fangs that were in his heart. So it all depends. When it comes to like the Beastmen or anything like that, I'm under the assumption that this is just blood work at play, like similar to what happened with the princesses and how the princesses have like this unnatural fear towards jihad. It's
Okay.
just something that was genetically engineered specifically for Traumerei in this particular case, or T in this particular case.
Okay.
And whenever they come in his presence, like they're fine until he flips the switch, and then they're like, oh no, and they're under him. And the only reason why Wang Wang wasn't was because he had a failsafe, but he was also genetically manufactured to obey his master.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's just how I interpret P and his behavior thus far. But the Omega sign on the eyes of the octopus, and I believe it was on the sea dragon as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I think those need to be completely dominated. As I believe Naya said, they can't have free will. If they have free will, they're not going to listen. And so he has to put them under the control to suppress their personality to get them to do what he wants. They're not going to listen like how Kobo listen.
But yeah, okay. So sorry, just real quick. When Cobalt was released, it didn't even say anything about it being one of his creatures like that. It just said 10,000 snakes and transcend into a deity spirit. It didn't even say it's one of the 23. So that's interesting. An interesting detail. I wonder if that's not even one of the 23. Just has it on him. You think he just has some random like fodder ones? He's even considered part of his like 23, like some shit he'll throw out. Not fodder, but like, you know.
To have a frog that's called a deity and it's not one of your 23 is kind of crazy.
Right?
Could be a typo.
Yeah, you never know.
Because the Kraken isn't like impressing me like that. Cobalt's definitely impressing me more than like. I mean, the octopus hasn't done much, but like other than attack ass, but still.
Yeah. The sea dragon looks incredibly terrifying. Like it looks incredible. I want to see how Line Webtoons translated it. I haven't seen how they translated it, so I want to see what they said here. Because that's actually usually how I get like, okay, so Cobalt, poison frog that became a deity after eating 10,000 snakes. Cobalt, so that's how they did it here. Oh wait, I'll need fast pass. Like, look at the other ones. Well, never mind. Another day.
And of course, we know he doesn't need to use the bowl to even carry these things on him. So does he just like pull them from like the void? Like where does he? So if you don't have a bowl, like where do you pull them from?
The void.
Well, he's
the
different.
void or
He's
like,
different. So wait, you took it as
like,
I took it differently when they said 23 beasts. I thought there were 23 in total, and Traumerei only had 7.
That makes no sense.
No, he has 20. No, he has 23 that he has, but I think it's 7 that he only. I mean, that's like, I guess that's an interesting way to look at it, but I don't think that's right. But
yeah, then what would it be 23 of what then?
I don't know.
Just 23 random beasts.
Because there's
23
there's
beat
definitely
that.
more than 23 like Shinhues or defined sea creatures in the tower
Yeah, that's what I'm
itself.
saying. Yeah.
Because when he flexed his all creatures, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if we saw more than 23, but there was a lot. And I also forgot to ask this earlier when we started the raw talk. Okay, so you know Holland's ability is what? He can like see dead Shinhue or Shinhue that are extinct and don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
So Traumerei could probably do that too, right? Because it looked like
Yes.
those creatures look kind of ethereal, see-through-ish. Like the opacity wasn't like, it was kind of like down a little bit. So I think the whole tower is his bowl. That would be crazy.
Ooh. It
But yeah,
could be.
but yeah, he probably has his abilities too. So I wonder if he can just summon like extinct creatures as well and use those. So that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be one of those things where anything a child has, the family has also just gonna have.
Yes.
So I can see that because I think like when he first got his thing, it's probably just a representation. Like at this point, every creature ever, that's just like your thing now. Once you find it, you can just tame it. You can do whatever. So yeah, I think so. Dead or alive, yeah, that's all him.
All right. So you guys have anything you think we forgot to mention or talk about? Actually, out of curiosity, we know Nene wasn't a great host for Arcanak. How strong do you think Arcanak really is if he's in a proper host? Like, I'm sure we all think that through Yama channeling Arcanak, should he come out, it'll be able to display a lot more power. But do you think Arcanak is like OD or nah?
I think when we look at ancients, I was actually gonna ask if we think the ancients are comparable to the 23, like one of the 23.
I was gonna say yes.
I think if they're in their peak power, they're like the peak of the tower for like normal residents. So like they're like your back Ryun, like with like type level, and they're
I
prime.
think his Shinwan Ryu's bowl. That's interesting. I was thinking there's 23 under the Lopapia family directly, and 7, and Chami's is 7. The other ones are probably okay. That's not. I think that makes more sense to me. I'm not mad at that one, but I think he just has 23.
Yeah, but they would
in
still be
general.
his.
Yeah, it's like he hands them out, but they belong to him because he's probably the one who found them, tamed them, if not created them, and he's the one handing them out. And if they die or there's no one to use it, he probably takes it back into his. We're gonna say he puts it back in his PC box. About the Pokemon type beat, okay? Puts it back in the PC. So yeah, I think the ancients / natives could be some of, if not the most powerful natural calamities or beings in the tower.
You think back Ryun could be an ancient?
Where'd that come from? I did not think that at all. Where did that come from?
I don't know. Just like his thing of being like, because he's just a weird anomaly.
To be number 9?
I don't know. Yeah.
He's the co-founder of Walk Hike Song. He's supposed to be a very talented wave controller, if I remember correctly, right?
He's like all about the forest. He wouldn't leave. He's supposed to be like, yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, you're born in the middle of the tower.
I think yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say when you're born in the middle of the tower, you're supposedly like given immense strength from birth or something like that. It was something weird that I seen in the blog post about it. But my bad.
But I think we've all come to the conclusion, well, not all of us, but we think that the most important thing is influence.
Yes.
I think because he's the current leader of Wall Hike Song, that's probably a big reason for why he's so high up there. Personally speaking.
Yeah, I can agree.
So
I would say it's because Eric is his partner.
There's that too, obviously. Yeah, that ties into probably like recognition, maybe. Again, so yeah, so I think power is actually the least important thing for your ranking, honestly. Or second, or at least second, yeah. So, but yeah.
Wait, can you guys? Okay, so what is the full like ancient thing again with Rack's ancestor, the ancients, and like how does the family line splitting go?
Rack is a native.
Aren't natives a type of ancient?
It's kind of vague if I'm being completely honest, because the ancient ones are or at least the way I understand it is the ancient ones are basically the beings that we see as stands. They're spiritual beings
Yes.
that require a host, and they embody the host. Depending on how strong the host is, that's how much of the power that they can extract or use, like in the material world or in the tower. Examples of this is the way Kel Helm was using his ability in combination with the ancient, the way Evankel summoned up the ancient during the last station and was melting everything around while using what was it, her orb. So
Yes.
it all depends on how well the two, I guess, mesh together. But a native one is supposed to be a being that can naturally use the elements of the tower, or at least that's what I noticed. Like Rat's natural ability to be able to fling rocks at people, use rock throw, like a goddamn crocodile or something. So it 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 it, it
Stone
it's
Edge.
vague, but at the same time, it gives you like a little bit of specificity.
Yeah, so like when Edouard's talking, and I feel like when like this was a really piss poor way to explain it, because when he sees Rack and he's like, "Oh, like is he one of like is he the native one?" Which sounds like it's one, but we know there's multiple. He goes and he says, "Okay, so there were these ancients. No, no, let me not use that word. There was this giant in the tower, and then you see like the picture, which kind of looks like a rat creature, and he has like the five elements around it. And he said, in order to give descendants, he split himself into five parts. Which to me, I would say, okay, so then would there be five ones each going for an element? But there seems to be multiple ancients that have the same uh, element, so I don't know if that's the case. So I'm like, did he just split himself into five, and those five then created the family that Rack is a part of, and the other ancients are just of the species of Rock's ancestors, and he's just the called the native one, and he's just a type of ancient. You see what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
really weird
my
the
my
mixing of that.
my theory is that the first floor, the floor of Hidan, the walls are pretty much what you see like put on the walls. That is kind of like the ancient one, not the ancient ones, but the native ones there, and it's like telling the story of them on that wall.
Okay.
That's why I theorize because on that wall you kind of see an ancient one that looks like Rock. I mean, not ancient, native.
Yes.
God dang it.
Yes.
But you kind of see a native one that looks a little bit like Rock on the wall, and then you see one that looks a little bit like Zeus or whatever. Like
That's why I'm curious if Rack's ancestor was just like the strongest ancient one or something, or the king of the ancients,
Is
because he could
Rack
control
hunting
more
someone
elements than one.
specific? Is he? I don't remember him saying that. I think he just
I,
gets
ha-
hunt.
I have an interesting theory.
Go ahead.
I don't think it's true, but Rack was specifically in an area where he hunted turtles. His species is hunted by the family heads in the beginning. So if Rack can Pokeball collect, Voltron, get all the elements and combine it, he might kill Hendo because Hendo's title is a long living turtle. I'm just saying.
Okay. You're on my two rods gonna kill Yasaracha. You said you got the goat man. Shit. The first time I said that, I'm like, do I believe what I just said? But I'm going
I
with it.
mean, given that
Uh,
500 chapters have or 500 plus chapters have passed, and the only native one that we've seen is Rack, I, I find it like hard to believe that any other ones might show up, not unless a native one is already a part of the Slayers, like with what is his name, Seto Persephone or something like that.
mhm,
Um, it could be the case. I'm hoping for it, but I would like more detail on the native ones just in general.
100%.
But in terms of the ancients, now I would say one of the things that we do know or that we can glean from the flashback is that Edan didn't know what he was talking about on the floor, on the data floor, not unless this is a retcon, because we see them going to go see what an ancient one is capable of in the flashback with what is her name? Ninya?
Nenea?
Linnea.
You call it Nen
And
Nen. You call it Nen Nen. They call her Nen Nen.
Yeah.
yeah. With Nin and basically Wang Wang. And with Lapobia stand back, Jihad stand back, and they just watching like the fireworks go down. So it's kind of like they didn't know what the ancient ones were capable of, and they just wanted to see for themselves to see if this was like an actual threat. But they didn't really do anything. They kind of just dipped.
Right.
So,
I guess to
so
me it's because they're commonalities that they both control the like are supposed to have this weird elemental control, which seems to be the same for both, even though there could potentially be different species. That's the part that's weird for me.
The complete.
All
Sorry.
the ancient ones seem to master one specific element, right? Like the Minotaur for Calahalum was wood. He did the tree stuff. Evankel's is fire. I guess we don't know with Arcanak
it seemed to be reality or consciousness or something like that. Something dealing with the mind. Because
Yeah.
everybody else was being plagued while Wang Wang was the only one that was there that was still conscious.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
broke out of it. So it could be something that deals with the mind.
Yeah, Scope, that's a good point. I was going to bring it up. There was that one character, the cloudy looking rack that was on Hidden Grove.
The fairy, the goat looking one.
Oh yeah, that is
The
true.
one that
And
looked
they
like Yuga.
and the native ones were supposed to have originally climbed with them before they were like betrayed and then like cursed. Or were the ancient ones cursed? That's why they don't have the spirit body. See, I'm already getting myself confused. Okay, was it the native ones that climbed with the tower? The Jahard and them?
Something like that. Only person
Okay.
that I can really remember that was climbing with them was Leslie. Everything else, I don't trust it.
I remember I'm pretty sure they did have a general squad that like in tower inhabitants that did go with them.
There were tower inhabitants,
Yeah.
but again, the only one that I can definitively state is Leslie because he's a main one, and you never know. Revisionist history can happen.
Yeah, that's like you do the retconning like crazy. Oh, Vio makes a yeah. There are three cursed species because one of them was the D rank regular that was both a man and woman.
Said one of them was both man and woman.
Yeah, the defender, who was cool with Sachi and Boro.
Oh, Akka.
Yeah, he's one of the cursed species.
One of the cursed people, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Akka Williams.
Yeah, had to think about it for a second.
So natives might be one of the cursed or ancients or whatever it is.
Not gonna lie, I thought Akka was a Hendo.
Was literally Hendo?
One of them. But
oh, like he's part of the clan.
Yeah.
I think you meant actual Hendo. I was like, wait.
Yeah.
But lived too long. Lived way too long. At least compared to like the backstory of everything. But yeah.
I don't get why Hendo's 25 feet tall.
Big nigga, bro.
Because he's trying to take on them short ones like Whitebeard, man. What you mean?
You're not dodging nothing. You're just taking the hits. Guy had the strong body.
Going with the compression shit, do you think Ivanko's compression was kind of weak?
I think it was trying to be consistent. I think wasn't there an earlier statement that said that Vankel was huge? I think it was just trying to be consistent with that earlier statement. But that couldn't.
I feel like it wasn't big enough.
Oh, okay, that's what you're saying. Oh,
yeah.
There's people who think that she's not fully uncompressed, so it's like a partial thing. I've seen that in my comment section when I made that video. Is Vankel overrated? The people were like, I don't think that Vankel has like fully uncompressed because a lot of people are saying that if a Vankel goes all out, no matter what, it's always gonna summon an administrator or a floor ruler to be like, hey, calm that down. So. That's what.
That's interesting.
I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm just done with the Vankai. I don't care. I'm done. I just don't give a damn. So yeah. But any final words?
No, I'm actually glad just Traumerei got his respect.
I don't think we. I just think he's a weirdo. I don't think he's. Bad
yeah, he's a weird. He's a weird nigga.
I just want him to stop watching arachnids get it on. in the cage, bro. That's all I wanted to stop doing.
Oh yeah, wait. I have one last question for Miliostin about Traumerei. We talked about this tonight, but do you think that family had strength and their personal strength and their family strength is proportional?
I do not.
Okay.
Actually, I have an interesting question for you guys because I was thinking about this too.
I'd
Do you
agree.
think that a person's kind of like personality and varying insecurities and whatnot ties into the abilities they have and unlock?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
wholeheartedly.
because
I,
trauma made me think that because of I think the concept of like people betraying him for love and whatever yada yada is what truly awakened his ability to dominate and control animals. Because I call him the ultimate apex predator in the tower, top of the food chain.
And on top of that, that feeds heavily into like the ability that Wang Wang and that Yazracha inherited with the Shinsu mind control feeds heavily into that. And that's why I think that there was a lot of blood work that was done, like especially involving him towards those beastmen, or at least in particular to Wang Wang.
I also think it's the same exact thing with Bam.
Yeah, his ability,
I think
his devouring ability. Yeah.
I think his actual Shinsu quality or his attribute, I think it's darkness.
The black Shinsu, yeah.
I think the devouring part is just a portion of the darkness ability, and I think that's because he was in a place of complete darkness, and that also ties in with his loneliness, where he feels this overwhelming need to always protect and keep people around him because he's afraid of being lonely, which goes into his devouring.
Oh, what are we talking about? I just came back. My bad.
The question I just asked is, if you think that a person's kind of like personality and or / insecurities ties into the abilities they kind of get and unlock and awaken because of Traumerei's. I said first time I really thought about it because Traumerei was like, oh, people will betray me, to fall in love, and blah blah yada yada. And I'm like, is that why he kind of awakened the animal ability to control, subjugate, and dominate other people? Because that's like his way of not being left alone because he can control their will. So I was asking if you thought that was consistent, because I would argue, because like Miles just did with Bam, I'd argue that Bam's ability to devour and take things into him is similar to that too, because Bam, I also associate Bam with loneliness.
Oh, okay, interesting.
So
I mean,
like I wonder if like Harurin was like, I don't know, and then she started punching shit. It's like, oh, I could fight nice. Like I don't know. I'm just wondering.
Well, maybe just Traumerei just figured out he was a sadistic person that like being in charge.
There's that too.
Talk
Or
about
dominating.
you get the slander in the agenda. God dang.
Shoot.
That's not a slander. There's nothing wrong with that.
Traumerei gets no swipes on Tinder. Adore definitely gonna be on her aesthetic gimmick.
I think it's more slanderous to think that he didn't get no bitches and that's why he's this way.
Well, you know what? My one thumbnail is crazy because I put maidenless for Traumerei, but I was someone asked something. I can't remember what they said, but I actually
think about all the stories with Oh my bad. Go ahead. Finish your thing.
I think that Bam's love interest is actually gonna be Adore.
I'm gonna hate that.
I didn't say it's a good thing, but I just said I think it's Adore.
I know exactly why they said that, because people have been spouting that goddamn myth since I started reading.
Well, because Rand said it first, and then SIU said that Bam has yet to meet his love interest. It's not in the story. They're not in the story yet. So I think it's low key. Actually, the original translation I read years ago when Rand said that when they were following Dorsey and Bam around their date was Midori, and then it got translated properly to Adori. So.
Going with that, do you guys think that all the Jahard princesses like Bam because Jahard's feelings for Arlene is so strong it went through the blood?
Well, it's not literally his blood though, but that's not a bad. I know what you mean. That's not a. That's somewhat interesting, but people are not a demi princess.
No, because I don't think because Garam and Elaine don't seem to like.
Well, Elaine's not a
little princess. Yeah, Elaine.
Well, she was a princess candidate.
She's not a princess.
But she does like.
She's not a princess.
She appreciates Bam.
Yeah. Garam, I think Garam is one of the outliers. Garam doesn't seem to give a fuck like that.
I think. But the thing was,
the two people that are quote unquote in love with him, they went about it different ways. So it's like at least they didn't go about it the same way. Because like Yuri thought he was attractive from day one. She saw him, she was like, oh, cute, my type. That
You
was
think
number
his love
one.
interest one of the twins because he didn't meet any of them? I would have to remember when the blog post said Bam hadn't met any of his love interests, but I think it was after those two were introduced. I don't remember though, so I couldn't. Don't quote me on that. I don't know. I don't think it's them though, but I'm not mad at that. I mean, I think it's Adori.
I want to endorse Yuri personally, but
I definitely don't want to be endorsed here. I can.
y'all haters out here, bro. You don't like Doan, you don't like endorse.
What's like about Doan?
Yeah, what's the like about Doan?
I don't even dislike it.
endorse.
I don't even dislike Endorsey. I just don't want her and Bam to get together. Doan I don't like. That's different. She's a moron. She's all over the place.
Yeah, no. If I had to pick between,
I don't think it's
I'm like
Anjad.
Yurik. I'm like Yurik. I'm going for Garen. He knew what's up. He understood this. But nah, I don't think it. I mean, I don't think at this point. I mean, I'm just going against the grain though. I don't think it's.
Yeah.
I want the most hilarious ending out of all of them. I want him to get catfished by Rachel, and then for her to break up with him while he on his deathbed. Say, I never loved you, Bam. It was me all along. It was Rachel. That's
What
what I
is
want.
wrong with you, man? You would never do nothing like that. He's not falling in love with anybody in this story. You see this young man? You don't even know what that is.
Mr.
No, what I want it to be.
I'm not ready for marriage.
What I want it to be. Now, if you talking about some dark, cynical shit, since we going on that route, you know who I want it to be? I want it to be Maria.
Oh, Consister?
Yeah.
I'll take the Shinny over.
I knew he was gonna say Machete because he likes Machete. He does not want to see that.
No, yeah,
I'm
we're not
sure.
doing. We're not doing that.
I knew he was gonna say Machete. He's not trying to see that. So. Yeah.
No.
Maria would be crazy.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. She hasn't been introduced in the story, and it directly ties to both of them.
It's why I completely reject the idea of Elaine and Bam. I'm like, no, I like Elaine. I respect her. If you like Bam, I won't like you. It's like the Cyclops effect. I don't know what it is about Scott Summers. Anyone who likes him, I stop liking them. I was a Psylocke fan, and as soon as Psylocke liked Cyclops, I stopped liking her. So,
See, you get it. I've never liked Cyclops, bro. From day one.
It's all good. It's gonna be Arc Raptor's daughter though. Watch. Old girl with the earrings.
You know what?
I'm not mad at that. I can live with that.
That's not impossible. I can see that.
REA family. So I'm okay with that. I can live with that. I'm cool with that.
Is she part of the RA family?
That's the prevailing theory. We don't know for a fact, but
okay.
Yeah.
There's actually a shit ton of regular princesses. I feel like.
I don't think so. I don't know. How would they get noticed is the question. I guess I don't know, but
yeah. But I guess maybe people just send out scouts. Look for extraordinary.
No, not clans. Not who we want to be with. If you asking me, I always pick Elaine. Elaine's my number one. But
LaFave.
Really?
Nah, she raw. I like her. She raw.
He saw the high heels and the bazooka and couldn't resist.
I ain't even gonna lie. She was out that joint looking like Sonya Blade. I was like, yeah.
Hey, she already got kids though. You okay with that?
I don't care. They gonna call me daddy. I'm cool with that.
I'm the one who stepped up.
I mean, I'm an Adori stan. We ain't seen her yet. So
Adori.
I'm an endorsed guy. I'm not even gonna hold you.
I do think that Batman Company are gonna start taking administrators test after this arc. Yes,
they should.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Because at least I think that way, like administrators can make the test as hard as need be for his power.
Damn, I forgot they even take tests. I ain't seen one of those in a while.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I mean, Rack and Kun are what now ranker levels, so.
Yeah. I'm a urine lip stand. Let's go.
Urine lips.
Urine lips were going crazy, bro. It was a crazy reveal.
They were. He did go crazy drawing that.
He's supposed to look just like Yuri, though.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Yuri's supposed to look just like
Yeah, so I'm just thinking like Uri's like a bustier, more voluptuous Yuri. So I'm here for it. I'm here for that.
I don't know why. I feel like I have no real reason. I think Yeon is in love with Jahard.
No.
I think that's why she. Yeah, I think that's why she doesn't marry.
Well, they said she
Perhaps
broke up
Pitts.
with somebody a long time ago, and then she made a contract that she'd be a virgin.
Did it say she used to date somebody?
Yeah, they said she broke up with a relationship a long time ago,
Oh, okay.
and that's why she never got over it, and that's why she made herself a virgin. Which is absolutely insane. Imagine having that type of power over somebody.
That's why I don't know. I think it could be. I feel like it would make sense for Jahar because Jahar also didn't marry, and he was obsessed with Arlene. She just got salty, that love triangle type shit.
I hope
Like,
not. That's
okay,
gonna
I'm
make
not
them look
having no
really
kid.
simpy, but they already look kind of simpy.
But they already
I don't know.
are. Like,
Yeah.
is it? I guess the question is it because you're immortal that you would care for these things more? Like the strong emotions would be stronger, or should you just not give a fuck at all?
I don't know. It seems like they felt like that before then. So
Okay,
Yeah.
I knew there was more. I remember there was more for her. I had to look it up, but she made a contract with a guardian to become a female that cannot feel love towards the opposite sex. Maybe she's just scissoring other women. I don't know.
no, but she's a virgin, so I don't think she's doing nothing. And also, she got somebody else having all the kids for her.
Yeah, it's Ilarde or whatever her name is. So,
Yeah. And then she out here making
and
niggas
she's
show up
supposed
with
to be she's supposed to be
documentation.
she's supposed to be the scariest woman when angry, apparently. So
Yeah.
You are the
which makes
the
sense
other
with the fire and the heat, you know.
Or
Fire,
Ela.
yeah.
She must be scary to even urine when she's upset.
So
one.
No, other woman got documentation. She only have a kid every 5 years. She like you gotta show paperwork.
I mean, Urine also. She got with Ari. She had her 2 kids, and she said, "I'm done.
shout out to Jihad, the greatest imp in the tower. Urek who? Urek,
other girls.
he taking shots though. He just missing.
Is that part of the criteria to being a regular? You gotta be a simp.
Yeah, but Urek had that whole. He bought out the phone and had all the.
No,
contacts.
wait,
So
hold on. Okay, so Jihad and Arlene.
Mm-hmm.
Gustang and
Bam and Rachel.
Bam and Rachel.
Yeah, Bam and Rachel.
Wait, who am I forget? Urek and just I guess anyone or Graham, whatever. Hold
I would say
on.
Graham. You could.
Hold on.
See, we don't know about the rest of them yet, but y'all talking about Traumerei and
Traumerei been hurt too.
Hey,
yeah, hold on. That might be a theme.
I know.
Might be a running theme. The thematical themes, bro. The thematical themes.
Fact.
No, actually, V was a simp. It's not a simp to be a simp for your wife, then.
Yes, it is.
I mean, she was
He
with
did
his
kill
wife at one
himself.
point.
He did kill himself because she was sad. So,
I don't know.
She was a simp for him too.
Interesting to think about, but
but Rachel doesn't simp for
Ari
anybody.
in love with the sword. The blade is out.
Rachel simps for Arlene.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, true. Oh, Edwin and Ari. Well, Ari actually simps for Jahar. Edwin doesn't simp for anybody.
We don't know. He might. We don't know yet.
Edwin was actually.
There might have been one that got away, and that's why he wilding like this.
yeah, exactly.
Because that's something I used to do. That's how I filled the void in my heart. So.
Kendo just has to actually fuck. So
yeah, he's fucking for his lifespan. That's different.
He's a simp for immortality. The only one who didn't get it. So I get it.
Yeah.
He's like, are y'all serious?
Well, all right, y'all. When I post this on YouTube, definitely go give it a like and drop a comment for me. Give me the algorithm boost. I need it. I appreciate you guys coming through for this conversation. It'll be up tomorrow or Friday. I'm undecided if I want to post this Maruna video Friday or tomorrow yet. So, yeah. But y'all be safe. We gonna be out, man.